Hello, everybody. Oh my god. Okay. Hi, hi, hi. Welcome in. Sorry, I had to respond to a bajillion posts on my Instagram. My bad. How are y'all doing today? How are we feeling? Happy Sunday. Where am I? What the hell? Where am I? What are you humming about? Thresh, what? Stop humming me! You guys are making me nervous. Don't me. Hi, Hunter. Welcome and thank you for getting first. Tom, thank you so much for getting second. Steven, thank you for paying your taxes. And for the 7 stream streak, let's go. Tom, thank you for paying your taxes. Kaze, I see you. Thank you for paying your taxes. Jacob, what the fuck is up, homie? Gay, thank you for paying your taxes. How do you do? Stop humming me. Stop humming me. Stop. You're making me nervous. What are we humming at? Shut up. Stop. It's fine. Stop. Hunter! No! Okay, stop bringing up the hooms. Stop. 15? Wait, 15 stream streak. Oh my god, Tom. I think that's the most I've seen. Stop. You started. Thresh, you did this. This is on you. Jolt! Jolt! What the hell? Jolt, I love having you here. How are we doing? I know, I'm sorry. No mustache today. I decided to shave it off. I just, they just spoke what we was all thinking. What do you mean? Well, what do you mean, I'm just a girl hanging out with my friends. Aw, Jolt, we miss you too. How have you been? It's so good to see you. I'm really happy that you're here. Welcome in, everybody. Today we're just taking it nice and slow. We're taking it nice and slow. I'm tired. Like, I'm ridiculously tired. Being a dude is exhausting. And so I will not be doing it again until the next time I decide to do it again. A billion messages. That's what I'm saying, Kaz. I was worried that if it kept going, every new person who came in here would catch the bug. And then all of a sudden, my whole chat would be hmms, and I'd be pissed. Thank God we avoided that. We dodged a bullet, everybody. New job, new girl, new hobbies, new everything. Jolt! Congratulations! That sounds amazing. Oh my god. So many new things. How are you feeling? Are you feeling great? I'm switching the audio only. I'm switching to audio only. I miss the eye candy of Robert Sheehan. Nikki? I know. Maybe one day he'll make a comeback, okay? But today you're just getting normal, Nikki. And I'm sorry to have confused any of you. I'm sorry to have misled any of you. Well, he's sleeping right now. The responses are gonna be slow, so sorry I'm making breakfast. That's okay, Kaze. You get to it. You're good. You guys take your time. Today I think is a nice day for a slow start, and it's gonna be a shorter stream today just because I'm not feeling 100%, and I also need to work on some schoolwork later. So y'all are good. Bah humbug. Ah, jeez. Logan, thank you so much for the 5 stream streak. I love having you guys here. They were just summoning me! Yeah! Jolt! Oh my goodness. How do I... Where's my... If you guys need to switch over to audio because you can't stand to look at my face, I get it. Without the mustache and the goatee, I'm a shell of who I could be. It's rough. Robin, how are we doing today? Good morning. It's so good to see you. So does this mean I should cosplay as a girly for relaxation? Maybe. Maybe. That could be the way. normal. Nikki's still wearing her shirt about clock. You can take the clown off the girl's face, but you can't take the no. You can take the girl off the clown, but you can't take the clown out of the girl. Ace, welcome in. Thank you for paying your taxes. Short stream, thresh. No hums. Stop with the hums, okay? Jolt. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you. I just was gonna read your message. Nikki, you don't need to be at 100% to be 100% amazing, which you always are. You're a marvel in this world, which is better just because you're in it. Joel, you are a sweetie bobeedy. Thank you so much for saying as much. Good reminder. Thank you. And then Alex comes in with sup nerd. Hi, Alex. How you doing? Did you like my cosplay yesterday? Ace of Ace of Bait. I almost said your whole ass government name. Also, happy birthday, Nikki. Thank you, Joel. Happy birthday to you too. Kaze new point rewards. Need you, want you. The circus is gone, but the clowns stayed. The clowns stayed. Yo, that's actually kind of sick. Kaze, it's not my birthday. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's really not my birthday. Don't. Just like the hums, which Maple, get out of here with the hum. No more hums. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's not my birthday. Stop with the hum. I'll give you guys a redeem. If no, I take it fucking back. If you guys maintain the for 3 straight streams, like a stream streak, if you will, then I will offer the redeem. But I'm not gonna give a redeem one time for one stream when it's gonna not come back around. Okay, so 3 streams. If it's not within 3 streams, we're not humming. Go follow Maple. Go follow all of our friends. We have an incredible group of people in this space right now. Alex, is not my birthday. I'm so sorry. But thank you. Happy birthday to you too. Should be a high point redeem or low? You guys tell me. You guys tell me over the 3 days that we have to deal with this. The betrayal. No. Taking it back? No, I'm not taking it back. Alex, you've come into chaos, dude. Also, what cosplay were you talking about? I missed it, I think. No, you were here yesterday. You said that I was culturally appropriating. Remember yesterday when you came in? You remember? Sounds like someone wants a new redeem. Also, what cosplay are we talking about? Thank you for the 3 stream streak. I'm confused. If you want it to go away, why are you trying to make streak? Because they ask for it, Maple. And sometimes I'm an easy lady, okay? Sometimes if chat wants something, I want to give it to you guys. I'm a people pleaser, okay? What can I say? But I'm not gonna just it's like you guys gotta work for it. Work for it. Okay? Nikki out here not wanting us to be contemplative on Social Sunday. We can't We can't ponder. We can't meditate on it. We just have to accept what Nikki says unquestioning. I am. You know what? That's actually a really good point. You make a really good argument. Hello, Classic Swayze. Welcome in. I love your name. Happy to have you here. Thank you for coming in with a proper hello, babes. Oh, that. My culture is not your cosplay. That's why I didn't react. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to culturally appropriate. I was literally just trying to be a dude. I was just trying to be a man. I was trying to be a fuck boy. Okay? I wasn't trying to be Russian. They're different. I see. Hi, hello. How we doing today? Tis true. Chat gets what chat wants too often. It's true. Maybe we should put our foot down, actually. Actually, Maple? Maple. Maybe we should put our foot down. The People's Democratic Twitch stream of Nikki? Yes, thank you. That's it. Yeah. I want to twerk for it. Twerk? Oh, okay, go ahead. Twerk for it. You hit me with a raid on Friday? Wait, oh my god, hold on. Wait. Yes. Okay. I apologize. I remember your face, but your name evaded me. But it is an absolute honor, a privilege to have you here. Please go follow Classic Swayze, okay, everybody? Freaking RPer, role player, okay? Was doing some drug stuff yesterday. It was awesome. I had a very good time. You missed. You're lucky you were streaming yesterday, okay? Because you missed hot fuckboy Nikki, aka Nicholas. You're lucky. Because I too be role playing. I too be role playing with my chat.
Who doesn't know how to drive. Now we got this one. Goodness gracious. Also way too culturally appropriate. Who would have thought Nikki over here trying to be a Ruski who also calls a Mexican, me, a bean.
Is this? Wildness. Wait, no. I got psyched out like this before. Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay. Ram, thank you so much for the biddies. I literally do not listen to Ram. Okay, as an anthropology major, okay, as somebody who is aware, all right, of the problematic nature of cultural appropriation, please know I was not culturally appropriating. I do not call Ram a bean because he is Mexican. That is not what I do. I literally call everybody, my favorite little cutie patootie, beans. I need that to be very clear because that is not what I am doing. And Ram is taking all of it out of context. And also, anyway, that's the most annoying part of me as a nuisance. I am the villain, but I have a point. Gay, honestly, yeah, I agree with that. Why you gotta be like that? So that we had to wait. So what we had was a true glimpse of what Nikki sees men like. Well, no, it's like an exaggeration, I think. Now it feels like home. She wears an ushanka once and she becomes a dictator. No, Alex, please. Please. Stop. We are giving the wrong impression. I was lurking for a while yesterday. Actually, I saw your title. Oh my god. You were there? No! Oh, Jesus. Oh my god. Okay, well, I'm happy you liked it. Let me know. Do you have a preferred nickname? Z? Sway? Classy? Classic? Sick? But like in the good way? That's crazy. Thank you for the lurk. I appreciate that. Ram, thank you for the bits again. I'm okay, I guess just want to go sit in a hole, but it is what it is. Story of my life, I guess. I see. I'm giving you all the hugs. I love you so much. I'm so sorry. Whatever's going on, I'm sorry you're having to deal with that. If you want to hang out with us, we're just taking it nice and easy. Nice and easy. I really did come in here like exhausted and tired, and you guys came in here and hummed me to death. Wow, silencing racial minorities. It could never be me. It could never be me. I'm too aware. They call me aware. They call me. Never mind. Yeah, Nikki was acting. She was role playing, not finally showing a true side of herself just by putting on a mustache. Dan did say it was giving drag king. And honestly, I didn't hate that. I think that if I start doing my Lyra stuff a little bit like more consistently and I actually start trying to do routines, maybe I'm gonna be a drag king. I'm not kidding. And my little fuckboy persona with his little hat and flannel, I don't know. You guys might start be getting, sorry, how do I say that? You might be getting some really interesting streams coming up. Me taking things out of context, never. Okay, yeah. As someone currently wearing green plaid, killer cosplay yesterday. Thank you, Maple! Thank you! Dude, I wish I had green plaid. I want more plaid. I love plaid. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. We have anonymous follows on, so if you want to join the conversation, please feel free. Otherwise, enjoy your lurk. That well was a kind of, yeah. The dictator, shut up! No, it's a democracy here. It's just I'm always right.
Melon Morum cheered X10.
You
might start be getting. Just wanted to point it out.
Words are hard. Have we not established that? That goes hard. Please, Alex. Nikki, just call yourself a drag king and we start. See, no, gay, yeah. Gay, damn, you again, a freaking nuisance, but you got a point. Did Nikki manage to descend into mansplaining? Oh. Oh my god, am I the patriarchy now? Whichever you prefer, sick would def be a new one? Oh, you know what? TTS is pretty low. Oh, is it? You guys want a louder? You guys want a louder? Hold on. I think it's we've lowered it because of Cyberpunk. But I have to just remember to do that again later. Let me play it again. I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to stick with sick because I'm not going to probably remember it because I'm going to see your name and I'm going to call you by your full ass name. So maybe we stick with Z. And then we'll see if sick kind of plays into it at some point. But fuck yeah. Welcome in. Ming gives energy. No, Tom. Nikki, you okay? Words be on the struggle bud today? Dude, they really do be on the struggle bud. Agreed. She thinks she can do drag for shits. I'm not literally disregarding the whole scene. Or maybe I am. I don't know. Am I? Maybe I need some self-reflection here.
Robin44 cheered X10, testing out the volume.
Can you guys hear it better? Thank you, Robin, for testing that out. Even shut up! You might start be getting. Oh my god. Oh, she's gonna wear flannel and play Overwatch. This drag king shit's gonna make her a normal Twitch streamer. Oh no, what's becoming of me? What am I turning into? Mansplaining and gaslighting? I would never gaslight you guys. I don't even think you know what gaslighting means. We want it louder because you don't do quieter, Nikki? Okay, well. How was that? Did you guys like that? Was it loud enough for you? Y'all have been giving me shit all morning. Okay, today's supposed to be a learning day. And I feel like I'm learning a lot about you guys. Hey, was that sarcasm? I don't even know what I said. Gay, how about that? The next Mr. Beast? No, please, for the love of God, no, I don't want that. Please don't put that on me. Yeah, take that energy away. I don't want to be the next Mr. Beast. He's stinky. Allegedly. She's one crypto scam away. I did have an ex once say that I should get into crypto currency. Giving shit is my love language. So I've heard and seen.
Melon Morum cheered X10.
Is this loud enough for you guys?
But I'll say this. You're aware that North Korea has the word democratic when describing their country? Food for thought, dork.
Wait, Nick says it isn't a dictatorship, but I'll say this. You're aware that North Korea has the word democrat. I didn't know that. I actually didn't know that. Thank you for teaching me something today. I don't want to edge too close to making jokes that are actually culturally not okay, so thank you for teaching me. TT is loud enough. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Toxic masculinity podcaster. I've also wanted to start a podcast. How funny would it be though, guys? How funny would it be if myself, midi class, hot dish gray duck, and Auntie Seance, which Auntie wasn't on stream yesterday, but I know for a fact she would kill her alter ego, okay? How sick would it be if we started a faux podcast? A faux podcast, baby! It's fake, but we come together and we talk. Maybe if we just did it one time, because I think any more than that, it would be overbearing and obnoxious, but... Abgus, welcome in! How you doing? And Belle, it's good to have you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so great to see you as well. Thank you so much for coming through. I love having you here. Pay taxes. Oh, thank you for paying your taxes, I mean. I tried a crypto account as an explore for a couple of years. Not really worth it in this day and age, in my humble opinion. Yeah. I also am not really feeling like it is worth it, but I also don't have the means to be investing. So, you know, there's that. Like all straight white men, she thinks she can pull off an interesting podcast. I love this feeling of being called out but not being called out. You know, I can like separate myself from the identity that's being called out, and yet somehow it is still me you're speaking to. This is a hmm hmm if you will. How was last stream gaming with the buds? It was actually really fun. I had a freaking blast. I feel like sometimes I get too into the role play and then I get to be I'm like too much for some people, but I think that they all enjoyed it for the most part. I don't know. You're going to have to go and ask Mitty and Ducky if they enjoyed it and then report back to me and let me know if they say anything. Okay, but can any of you hold character for more than a paragraph without laughing for 5 minutes? Yes, gay. I can. Trust me. Just you wait. Just you wait. Give me a character right now and I'll hold it for 5 minutes. Hi, True. Thank you for paying your taxes. Picard! Picardi Mojito. Okay, first of all, I love your name. But second of all, I do not speak Spanish. No. I am a part of the No Sabo kids. Unfortunately. Please forgive me, Picard. For the love of God, please forgive me. It's not my fault. I mean, it is at this point, it is my fault because I am an adult and I could have learned it at any point, but I will not be taking blame. Depends on where you are. Money transfer can be a pain in Russia, Ukraine. Oh, fair enough. A faux podcast and hearing crows caw. I don't know the difference. Huh? Are you calling me a witch? All right, totally. That's not you who's being called out. No, definitely not me. Could never be me. Awesome to be awesome here. Thank you, Belle. Yeah, thank you for coming through yesterday, Nikki. Just go ahead and ask Ned phone. I could never. He doesn't actually know. He does not know how to be a podcaster, okay? He also doesn't know how to be a husband. He also doesn't know how to freaking he don't know. Gay, he has nothing to give me. Give me another mansplaining white cis het man. I'm in the USA. I found transfers and payments to be difficult fare. I think they definitely enjoyed it. Certainly hope so. Try to be Latinx who speaks Spanish. Here's your character. You son of an actual freaking motherfucking biscuit. It's me. No problem. Picard, we're happy to have you here. Welcome in. I do apologize for not being able to speak Spanish. I'm hoping one day that I will overcome that challenge, but we'll see. Time will definitely tell. Hi, Nacho Bean. How you doing today? I don't think I can be here long, unfortunately. Busy helping someone, and I'm actually finally practicing my art. No worries, Belle. You go. Practice your art. Take C's. Oh, hold on, wait. Hold on, I'll be right back, everybody. You guys, hang tight. Your character. Hold on. I'll be right back. Hey, sorry about that. My dirty bean water got here, so I needed to go out there and get it. I don't think I could be here long. No worries, Belle. Okay, Nikki with character thoughtful, funny, charming person trying to better understand the human condition. That's gonna be a tough one, gay, but I will give it a go. You rang true. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. White cis male here. Hi. But of course, I had to say hi. I appreciate you, Belle. Somebody gave me a sub for this channel, but I have no idea about you actually. Picard! Well, I don't know if you're still here, but if you're still here, and to any new folks in this space, let me go ahead and introduce myself. Hello, my name is Nikki. I'm a variety streamer. I play games, I make art, and I chat. And on Sundays, like this very holy day, I love talking about life through an anthropological lens. We will talk about um, anything from human culture to the um, the biology of humans, right? Like how we kind of like die and how we live, all that stuff. Kai, no worries. Enjoy your lurk. I appreciate you. We just like learning here and we like having fun and we like creating a space that is open to silliness, okay, and shitting on your streamerness. but also really welcoming and wholesome and as inclusive as possible. As inclusive as we possibly can be, you know? Come here. My baby boy. My baby boy. He's desperate for attention. Oh, wait. Let's put this there. Okay, there you go. Okay. Ugh. I'm from Spain, by the way. Hell yeah. Well, I'm in Florida of the USA. It's not great here, I'm gonna be honest with you, but happy to have you here. We're finally back. Take your time. Did she finally get canceled? I'm gonna guess accepting a long awaited shipment of merch. You see this white boy can speak a little Spanish. Por favor, manténgase alejado de las puertas. Open the door? Dog wants treat. He really does. My name's a reference from Bacardi Mojito, the rum brand. Yes. Oh, not Bacardi. Oh my god. But wait. So it's like a pun on that, right? That makes sense. That makes sense. I would have guessed it was Picard from the Star Trek, but yeah. And by treat he means a meat lover's pizza. If I could, I would. Man Better Pig, thank you for paying your taxes, lovely. Welcome in. How are you doing? Happy morning. The real streamer is the dog. Hi, it's good to see you. Hi, Henry. How are you doing? Lurking mode on love. Love you all. Yes, Joel. Thank you so much. I appreciate the lurk. You enjoy the rest of your day, okay? If there's space, can we please look at that paper I sent a while back? I'm so curious. Yeah, we can actually, because there's gonna be space, babes. Let me take a look. Let me open it up. Discord. Bog bodies was a popular discussion topic a number of years ago. It was. We did talk quite a bit about bog bodies. And if you're unfamiliar with them, they are the excellently preserved bodies, remains, I should say, of individuals who were dropped into a moist environment with very little oxygen. So their preservation of not only their skin, but at times the contents of their last meal are so well preserved that we can uncover them from their site, from their context where they were buried, and we can still figure out what those things are, right? Who they could have been, right? We could take DNA samples from them. So it's a fun topic. I really love bog bodies. I'm fascinated by them. And I'm more than anything, guys, more than anything, I am fascinated by death, particularly by human death. Particularly why humans want to preserve the dead in such specific ways and how they go about it, right? So the funeral rites of a dead body, but also the mortuary rites, which are two distinct things, right? Mortuary is going to refer to how the body is handled. Funerary is going to speak to the cultural aspects of the rites being performed on the dead. Sick. And not talking about Z. Okay. When she anth on my ropo-teleology, thresh out. Go take a lap. Oh shit, that's funny, Thresh. Oh my god. The evolution of the yo-yo from feared hunter's weapon to ubiquitous kid's toy. A thing we could do. Nikki is so Floridian, she keeps a pet gator in the other stream room. The 24-hour stream room? Yes, it's true, twins. I really do be doing that. How'd you know? How did you find my other account? Milo blink twice if you need saving. He doesn't. He's fine. She's the gator's pet, technically. We have a mutual relationship going on. Nikki, that was please stand clear of the doors from the Disney one. Wait, really? I read doors and that's all I know. Okay. The pun is that my real name is Picardo and I love mojito. So I see. No, I love it. Are you okay with me calling you Picard? Me and Nikki are bog buddies. We really are. Koga, hello. I saw archaeological in the title, so I had to be here. Well, welcome in, buddy. Koga and friends, today we are going to be, my idea was that I'm just going to show you guys videos and we're going to like react to videos that I find interesting, right? Because a lot of the time I'm the one presenting the information to you guys, right? But if we watch a video and you're like, whoa, I would love to learn more about this, we can obviously go off in different tangents. I'm totally cool with that. But I'll show you the videos that I have lined up and we can kind of figure out where we want to start and where we want to go from there. I also know that Alex wants to look at that paper that he posted, so I have to find it. Is it the one, the uh the science article, the tool use and language use? Is that the one, Alex? Let me know. Pat, thank you for paying your taxes. Welcome in. And Hunter, I love you so much. I hope you're having a good day. You mean how people understood death through history? Yes, Picard. So it's that element, how people understood death, because that can lend to the conversation around how and why people started to develop these like the mythos of zombies or vampires or werewolves, right? Because of how they understand death, the process of death, the spirituality of death, the oh, I can't remember the word right now, but also how people physically handled the physical bodies of individuals. Ah, I love it. I'm very interested in it. Koga, thank you for paying your taxes. Oh shit, Nikki's gonna give me a lecture on Lenin's corpse. I might, gay. I might. And you're gonna sit your ass down and you're going to listen to every single word I have to say because I'm interested in y'all's special interest. And when you come into this house, you're interested in my special interests, okay? You're gonna let me feel like you care about me and my interests. All right? Okay. I got you. Okay. I think I'm going to be able to do this one justice. What do cats wear to Fashion Week? This is the joke. What do cats wear to Fashion Week? I don't think she will, as that's a dead Henry. Oh my god! Hi, Pat. Welcome in. How are we doing today? Happy Sunday. If the card is okay, if that's easier for you. It, as long as you're okay with that. I'm sure we can make it so. My head is going to hurt if I stay here too long. Learning hurts. Hunter, it does hurt, but you should stay anyway. I'm just a historian trying to find a place to nerd out on Twitch. Don't mind me. Koga, you are so welcome here. Dude, I love history. And if you have anything to contribute to the conversation, please always, always, always feel free to do so. I love learning from you guys. This is, as I have learned, an empirical learning society, a empirical learning group. So we are all learning from each other. You could just 1/3 pay attention in class like we used to as the smart ass kids. True. Didn't get much sleep due to gallbladder problems. Are you okay, Hunter? Do you need to go to the doctors? I do care. I just already got the death degree, lady. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, I don't wanna death splain anything to you or anything, gay. You don't know? Okay. So what do cats wear to Fashion Week? Hot couture. Hey, you get it? Hot couture. History more like her story. Feminism. Whoa. No, don't go. That wasn't the learning part. That was just a really good joke, okay? Come on. Come on. I can't stay after that. You know what? I understand. I can't force you to stay. I do not have that in my power yet. But you will be missed, gay. You will be missed. Please return one day. Um, freaking, freaking Alex is the article that you want the science article? Tool use and language share synaptic processes. Mickey has a whole deck of perfect pet jokes. It's true. I really do. I have a whole pack. See? Don't you love learning? My background's in medieval studies and history of religion, so if we're talking about death, I've got a good deal to share. I love it. That's fascinating. And you probably are going to have so much more to share with me than I will even know. I love it. Learning is gross and what's not. What's the other thing that with that redeem? It's this one. How to speak dog. I know it's flipped. My camera's flipped. But it's how to speak dog and it just tells you different behaviors that dogs do and how to interpret them. It's interesting. I don't know if I 100% always agree with it, but it's interesting. Can I ask a serious question? You may have the answer and you may not, and I'm fine with that, but I just need to ask. Absolutely, Icy. Ask away. And while you ask, I'm going to give you guys a quick run through of what we have planned video wise, and then possibly the article we might read, depending on if Alex makes his way back here or not. So the first one is by Inside Archaeology. I highly recommend that you follow them. I'll make sure to post these links as we go through them. But did you get your homework done? No. But I'm going to work on it this afternoon and into next week, and I should be able to finish everything by next week. So that's pretty exciting. I'm going to be done with school. Oh my god. Go follow this individual. They are a wealth of knowledge. And this is New Archaeology News, October 2025. So this is all the stuff that was theoretically I get jump scared by that playlist every time. I'm so sorry, Alex. But Alex, also, did you not hear me really quickly? Did you is the article you're talking about, just to make sure I know, is it the most recent one about tool use and language? I don't know if you answered me or not. Pat, if you are looking to jump, it is for subscribers because they get to be little platypussies on the screen and then they can jump to catch the stars. No, yeah, that one I think. Okay. All right, cool. Just like that. Nice job, Alex. Okay, so the first video that we are going to possibly be watching is New Archaeology News, October 2025. Then we have The Cheekiest Potter in England, Renaissance Genitals, Emojis, and Ketrin Moy. Then we have Neil deGrasse Tyson reflecting on getting older. We have Adam Savage touring medieval bows, Koga, at the Met Museum. Then we have a historian answering folklore questions, which I thought was really interesting. I haven't watched that one yet. And then how the USA collapsed in cyberpunk universe, full cyberpunk timeline lore. So that's like the end. Alex, I am really coming to terms with me not liking Neil deGrasse Tyson as well. I am curious what he has to say about getting older, but I do not think that I like him either. Which is an interesting turn of events for me because I really did enjoy his content up until recently. He started getting, and I know that he's been doing this for a while, but he started getting very like pompous and like condescending about people who don't understand certain topics, and he is not, it does not feel like he's contributing to the like world of education in a way that like works for me. So we will see if we even get to that video. Up his own ass in recent years? Yeah, Henry, it's weird and hungry. It's good to have you here. Welcome in. Okay, I'm going to lyric while I sit in thought much love. Wait, Icy, did you ask the question? Ah, I'm so sorry, Icy. Let me respond to your question if you have a second. Okay. Why is it that people put on a front to become your friend just to ignore you or stab you in the back and make you feel like you always land in the wrong friend group? You know, I think sometimes it is a matter of two people not meshing well, like your needs and their needs, or your interests and their interests, or your way of viewing reality and their way of viewing reality doesn't necessarily coincide and doesn't like run parallel with each other. And so over time, like there's a breakdown of communication and a breakdown of the friendship. But I think that it is dangerous territory to walk or to assume that like people in a general sense do this. Um, it's hard to say. It's hard to say, really, because I think it's a very contextual thing. Each scenario is going to be different, but what that particular situation sounds like for me is that um maybe the person thought that they wanted to be your friend, or they were really invested and interested in being your friend, and then they had something within themselves happen, whether it's they realize they don't mesh with your personality, or maybe life sometimes gets in the way, and I don't know, other things kind of come into play, and it's not to say that it's your fault or their fault. um but it just sounds like what they thought they wanted with you, they no longer wanted. And because they aren't like mature enough, or they didn't have, like, they just don't know how to communicate that with you, it's easier just to ghost. It's easier just to backstab. It's easier just to ignore. It's not fair, but that's what that at least sounds like to me. And I'm sorry you're going through that as well. I hope, if you are going to take some time, if you are going to consider it and just sort of like sit with your feelings on that stuff, just please remember you are not to blame for that per se. I'm sure that everybody has, all relationships have a, like, um, all relationships are like multiple way streets, right? And so it's not just their responsibility for the relationship or your responsibility for the relationship. So I'm sure you contributed to that in some way, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything necessarily wrong with you. It just might mean that that relationship wasn't meant to persist. So yeah. Are you being a nerd this morning, Dan? I am. I'm being annoyed and I'm excited about it. How are you? How is work going? Are you okay? So many cool topics in CP lore. I'm skipping my afternoon nap, Koga. I appreciate you being here. And yes. Yay! Okay, well, nice to meet you. I have to go have fun. Thank you so much for the follow. We are happy to have you here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, Picard. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning. Talia, hello and good morning. How are you doing today? I first really noticed his "this is beneath me" condensation when he started critiquing superhero movies for scientific accuracy and wouldn't take on board any aspect of comic book logic, decreeing anyone as relatively simple-minded for not questioning why, for example, Superman can fly. Yeah, I think um I had a similar experience, but it was when oh my god, he had another guest on his show and they were talking about free will. And the guest was basically, it was another gentleman, um and he was talking about how, like, he was just, the other gentleman was just more willing to accept all sides and to hear everybody's side and not to demean anyone for having an opinion, whereas it felt like Neil deGrasse Tyson was very much like, no, that's dumb. Like, it's like, the feeling was like, you should not think that because that is dumb. And like there would be like these little moments of him being like, okay, I'll relent a little here or there, but for the most part, he was just like pushing and pushing and pushing his energy. Whereas the other individual was just like, this is the stuff that I am looking at, this is the stuff that I'm learning, this is the stuff that I've perceived, and this is where I'm coming from. And he would, you know, challenge Neil deGrasse Tyson, but not in a way that felt aggressive. And I think that's just been, that's been difficult. That's been difficult for me. I appreciate you and everyone in here. I'll explain the situation when I stop being in my head. No worries, Icy. You take your time. Let's go ahead and we're gonna start here. I do want to find that article though. Tool use and language share synetic. Okay, so let's do this. Tool use and synetic. I want to find the science article. All right, we're gonna start watching some videos, baby. Um, it's the whole looking from another's perspective aspect he seems to actively fight against. Yes. Yes, Henry. I agree with that. That is it. And again, I don't remember where I saw this comment, but there was a comment that somebody made on one of his videos, which was essentially like there was a guest and then there was Neil deGrasse Tyson. There were other people on the show or whatever, but they said, um, like the guest never demeans, like basically they make space for people to want to learn and grow and be better, and that includes themselves. Whereas Neil deGrasse Tyson, at least how he's presenting himself on these shows that he's on, does not seem to present that type of energy. And so it's like, how, at what point do you stop being a respectable, like, um, academic person? You know, at what point do you stop being respectable whenever you can no longer, like, I don't know, educate people? Because like, you know this knowledge for a reason. It's not just to be able to spout it because you're so like fucking smart. I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes motivation for friendship can be unbalanced. Some people look at a friendship as a means of belonging or gaining advantage through association. Good luck with your headspace. Yes, agreed, Robin. It's more. I mean, learning time is learning time. I'm ready to get my learning on. Hunter, thank you so much for sticking around. We appreciate you. True. You stick around. You're also gonna be learning something. Hi, Ron. Welcome in. How you doing, Ron? We still haven't listened to your music. Fuck. But we need to. Maybe we can do that today, in between some of these videos. Hi, Spider. Welcome in. That harsh rhetoric when arguing against pseudoscience, but. Oh, but. Give us that but, Alex. Give us that but. Believing his own hype. Yeah. I like things and stuff too. Hell yeah, me too. All right, we're gonna watch this. You guys continue talking. I'll keep talking as well.
Ago, off the coast of Florida, 11 Spanish ships vanished in a hurricane,
Clip
and
what?
with
I don't even
them
know
the
what I
fortune
said.
of an empire. Now its treasure
Ron,
is
it's
being
good to see you.
salvaged from the sea. 1,200 years ago, King Ashot the Great
Hi,
united the kingdom
Spider.
of Georgia and was assassinated later by rebels. Lost
This
centuries,
is
his
sped
royal
up
tomb has
ever
now
so
been
slightly.
found and identified in northeastern Turkey. In Mexico, the writing of the great city of Teotihuacan has never been deciphered, but now 2 scholars think they've cracked it. A potential Rosetta Stone moment for one of the greatest ancient cities on Earth. And just in time for Halloween, a homeowner in New Orleans has found an authentic ancient Roman tombstone in their yard. Where is it from, and how did it get there? These are just 4 of the many archaeological discoveries that were made in October 2025 that are rewriting what we know about the past.
Saying it.
Today, I will guide you on a journey through time exploring these latest exciting
volume
stories
is much
from
lower than you.
around the world, including an exciting interview with a linguist and archaeologist who think they may have figured out how to decipher the writing of Teotihuacan. I have used my years of experience as an archaeologist to carefully research and put together this video of well-sourced and interesting news about real archaeology. No pseudoscience, clickbait, or AI here. Which is why I also sometimes butcher pronunciations, despite my best efforts to get them right. If this all sounds like it's right up your trench, then stay tuned to dig deep into these captivating stories from our past.
Alex,
why is
that?
Sponsored by AncientCyprus.com. Cyprus, inhabited over 12,000 years ago in the pre-ceramic Neolithic period, boasts a long and complex...
Wait, no, let me guess. Is it decipher because we're trying to understand that language? We're not trying to translate it through another language?
Archaeological history. AncientCyprus.com is dedicated to fostering interest in Cypriot and Levantine archaeology and supporting archaeology communication. Their work encompasses a diverse array of projects, from developing articles on topics like early Bronze Age pottery to producing 2 billion pixel surface scans of ancient objects and creating extremely high-res 3D models of archaeological ceramics that allow for detailed inspection of surface damage. The organization's goal is to document the entirety of Cypriot and broader Levantine archaeology and material culture. In sponsoring this video, all they want you to do is check out their website, which is linked in the description of this video. So,
wait, that's so sick. Hold on. I want to post this video here. We're currently watching this. I want to pin that. And I'll manually unpin that in a second. And then I want to... Where? Okay, here it is. I also want to add that link just in case you guys are interested because that's so
Head there
sick.
after this to learn more about ancient Cyprus. All right,
so
everybody,
cool!
Let's dig in to the discoveries.
She's so silly. I love her. At a point in his career where he's exhausted from arguing and with something that's he honestly should take a break from debating to find.
We have 9 stories today in our top discovery segment, presented in chronological order, starting with the one that goes the farthest back in time. Our journey today begins 12,000 years ago in southeastern Turkey. This area is famous for the Tas Tepeler, aka the Stone Hills, a group of archaeological sites that date to the pre-pottery Neolithic period, during the transition of humans from nomadic hunter-gatherers to settled farming communities. Woo! The most famous site in this group is Göbekli Tepe. You might have heard of it.
You might have heard of it!
Is 35 kilometers away on its sister site of
If you haven't, tell me you haven't heard of that.
Excavations here have found more than 250 T-shaped pillars, enclosed communal structures, and intricately carved sculptures depicting humans and animals. It also has a more advanced architectural layout than Göbekli Tepe, with evidence of early forms of settlement and social organization. Now, recent work has added another groundbreaking discovery: a T-shaped pillar carved with a human face. The face has deep eye sockets, a broad nose, and sharply defined facial lines, and stylistically, it matches other human statues that have been found at the site. We have known for a long time that the T-shaped pillars of these sites symbolize human figures. However, this is the first time that a pillar directly portrays a human face, transforming abstract symbolism into direct representation.
That's Johnny Bravo!
It's been described as a major leap in understanding the emergence of self-awareness and identity in the prehistoric mind. It could even be one of the earliest known depictions of humanity. Ongoing work at Karahan Tepe is quickly establishing this site as a new epicenter for discovery, and I'm sure it's not the last time we will be seeing it on this show. Next, we head to the ancient site of...
Oh my god, wait. I see. So they plant... Okay, so in my mind, they were planting olive trees as a means of, like, protecting the site. But they're doing it as a means of halting the, like, historical progress. The archaeological progress. I see. Whoa. Like, leave it as a mystery. First of all, that presents so many complications, because on the one hand, it's like that is the history that belongs to that, like, those living ancestors, and so like that makes so much sense. On the other hand, it is heartbreaking on a historical level, because it would be so cool to know more, but go I forget how to spell it. That's not it though. Yeah. I want to also have this up here. Okay.
Of Nineveh in Iraq, and jump forward around 11,000 years to the 8th and 7th centuries BCE. Situated on the banks of the Tigris River near modern-day Mosul, Nineveh was the capital of the Neo-Assyrian Empire and once the largest city in the world. Until recently, its remains have been inaccessible to archaeologists due to modern religious structures. But now, collaboration and careful planning have finally allowed for systemic excavations, which have led to the discovery of carved throne room reliefs and 15 colossal winged bull statues.
Look how many legs there are!
Lamassu, which, side note, is one of my favorite ancient words to say. Lamassu! It's just, I don't know, there's just something really cute about it. Dating to the reigns of the 3 greatest kings of the Neo-Assyrian Empire, Sennacherib, Esarhaddon, and Ashurbanipal, these finds come from the height of the empire's dominance. Lamassu statues are perhaps one of the most well-known symbols of this civilization. Carved from massive stone blocks, they combine the body of a bull, the wings of an eagle, and the face of a man. Assyrians believed that they were protective spirits that guarded the thresholds between the human and divine realms. Positioned at palace gates, they warded off chaos and ensured the stability of the empire, symbolizing strength, swiftness, and intelligence, the divine attributes of kingship. Of the 15 new Lamassu statues, 12 of them remain in their original positions. And what makes them significant, in addition to the fact that there's such a large number of them that's been found, is their diversity of construction. Some were sculpted from a single block of stone, while others were assembled from multiple pieces. An unusual practice at this time, which suggests either an evolution of artistic techniques or a shift in building traditions. We don't exactly know why. And the discovery doesn't even stop there. In a nearby military complex linked to a royal residence, fragments of throne room reliefs were also found that show royal processions, military campaigns, and ritual scenes. These new fragments could help fill crucial gaps in our understanding of late Assyrian artistic development, especially under Esarhaddon and Ashurbanipal. These discoveries are not just archaeological milestones. They are acts of cultural recovery in a region that has suffered from immense heritage loss in recent decades due to rampant destruction and looting during modern conflicts. As the excavation continues, it's hoped that more of the palace complex will be found, potentially revealing inscriptions or archives that could offer us even more insights into the administration, religion, and art of the Assyrian Empire. Our next feature is an unusual one in that it concerns a 1900-year-old Roman grave marker, but it's been found in New Orleans, USA. The artifact was found while a couple were clearing away undergrowth in their yard, and obviously begs the question of how did it get there? Did the Romans cross the Atlantic? Was it aliens? This unusual discovery set the couple on a quest for answers. They noticed that there was a Latin inscription and sent photos to two different Latin experts at different universities. Both of them separately determined that the headstone was dedicated to a 2nd century
South
CE
America,
Roman
really?
sailor and military man. It reads, "To the spirits of the dead for Sextus Congenius Verus, soldier of the Praetorian fleet Misenninus, from the tribe of the Bessi, who lived 42 years and served 22 in the military on the trireme Asclepius. Attilius Carus and Vettius Longinus, his heirs, made this for him well deserving." The experts also determined that the stone fit the description of one reported missing from the City Museum of Civitavecchia, Italy, near where it had been originally found. From there, the Civitavecchia Museum was contacted and the stone was turned over to the FBI. It appears that the tombstone was likely brought to New Orleans sometime in the 20th century, perhaps after the Second World War, which saw the U.S. military fighting in Italy. Yet it is not immediately clear who might have done it. The family of the locals who previously owned the home for most of the 1900s were unlikely candidates, having not served in Italy during World War II. Regardless of how it ended up in the US, the Civitavecchia Museum are looking forward to getting the stone back so that it can be displayed once more. Now we head east to South Korea and the city of Gyeongju, which was once the ancient capital of the Shilla Kingdom.
I don't know,
where
Alex.
the remains of
I'm sure we've heard of, I'm sure I have heard about it, but Belle, no worries. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Have a wonderful lurk, okay? You take care of yourself. Aliens have ingrained themselves in different cultures throughout history. Ron, don't let that shit. Please dig that stuff out. Please, Ron. No. Aliens did not. I promise you. People, like, we are just that incredible. Our living ancestors are just that incredible. And unless we get proven otherwise, and like an alien sure as shit comes down here and is like, hey guys, I did help you. We need to believe that people are the answer. Or I should say hominids are the answer. Varangian guard getting bored. Dude, this is fun. You guys are, I'm so excited to dig into other things. Belle, again, thank you so much. Quiet, good morning. Getting coffee sounds good, Brock. Yes, go and take care of yourself. Get your shit. Thank you for paying your taxes. We are the aliens. We could be. One of my regulars at the bar is a history teacher, and we give each other shit because I always tell him world history is old news.
Of a wooden chamber tomb dating to the 4th or 5th century CE have been found. Inside are the remains of a military commander, alongside his full set of armor, horse gear, and fragments of a gilt bronze crown. The commander was in his 30s when he died and was buried with another individual who has been identified as a retainer sacrifice, a burial custom from Sheila's formative years.
Impose anything
this is only
upon
the second time sets of armor for both the man and his horse from this era have been found, providing tangible evidence to back up historical records of the kingdom's heavily armored cavalry. The sword, armor, and helmet were preserved in exceptional condition, and parts of the armor were made from leather, differing from the iron-dominated designs found previously. This suggests they were trying to make armor lighter and more mobile in response to evolving military tactics. However, the most exciting artifact from this tomb is the fragments of the gilt bronze crown, believed to be among the oldest of its kind from this period. Its decorative motifs resemble those of the neighboring contemporary kingdom of Goguryeo? Okay, I'm going to look this one up. Goguryeo. There we go. This suggests active cultural exchange between the two powerful kingdoms. This discovery of a complete set of man and horse armor is incredibly rare. allowing us to expand our understanding of the political and military structures of Shilla and its relationships with the wider world. Our next
Coco,
find
but
brings us
that's
back
so
to Turkey and its
sick!
northeastern mountains of Artvin province, where beneath the crumbling remains of the Petrus and Paulus church, researchers have uncovered the long-lost tomb of the Georgian king Ashur the Great from the 9th century CE. He ruled during a defining era for the medieval Caucasus region, uniting the Georgian principalities under the Bagratid dynasty, rebuilding Christian monasteries, and restoring political stability after centuries of invasions. Historical texts record that he was assassinated in 826 and buried beneath the church in Ardanush, a clue that has now guided modern archaeologists to his final resting place. When the team began work this year around the apse of the church, they found a 2-meter long and 1.8 meter wide vaulted tomb chamber that had been sealed since the Middle Ages. Despite the fact that it...
Maybe because this video is so long, when we find interesting stuff, we take breaks because it's quite a long one and we're just going to keep figuring out new stuff. So I want to see Gobekli Tepe. The trees. Look at all the trees. Southeastern Anatolia. This property presents monumental round, oval, and rectangular megalithic structures erected by hunter-gatherers in the pre-pottery Neolithic age between 9,600 and 8,200, yes, BCE. These monuments were probably used in connection with rituals, most likely of a funerary nature. Distinctive T-shaped pillars are carved with images of wild animals, providing insight into the way of life and beliefs of people living in Upper Mesopotamia. Illegal? Really? Or because you have ADHD? Yeah. Well, okay, Alex. Fucking calling my ass out like that. Fucking calling my... You're not wrong, okay? You're not wrong. I need this more than you guys, but still. Upper Mesopotamia, a region which saw the emergence of the most ancient farming communities in the world. Monumental structures, interpreted as monumental communal buildings or enclosures, were erected by groups of hunter-gatherers in the pre-pottery Neolithic period of the 10th and 9th millennia. Good morning, Dr. Broctopus. What we doing? We learning today. You're not wrong, Alex. You were not wrong. Before my coffee kicks in, some of the time theories make sense too. Ron, we could have a little cheeky debate on it. Dr. Broctopus, is good to have you here. Welcome. This is the best thing about social sciences. You can sidetrack endlessly and still learn some. Oh, I know. I love it. Ha! You can't make me learn. I graduated already. I legally no longer have to learn anything. You legally do not, but legally you have to be here because you are legally now a mod and you legally have to pay your taxes here. So I don't know, Dr. Broctopus. You tell me what you think about that. Otherwise, if you leave, abandon your modship, and no longer pay taxes, I will have to send my royal guard after you. So just, I don't know, think about it, Dr. Broctopus. Think about your life choices here, okay? You can also, Milo, I will send Milo after you, okay? And you don't want him chasing you down. Oh, I just smacked the shit out of his booty. I love him. He loved it, don't worry. Have a life instead of a PhD. Alex, you and Koga on the opposite ends of the spectrum right now. Contains all elements necessary for the expression of its outstanding universal value and is of adequate size to ensure the complete presentation of the features and processes which convey its significance. Physical fabric of the property is good condition. I want to see if it says anything about... Okay. It's protected by law of the cultural and natural properties until the limestone plateau were inscribed in the first degree archaeological conservation site by the decision of the council. Interesting. It doesn't really say too much about the royal guard is fast. Don't make him chase you. Precisely, Ron. Thank you. But fine, I'll sit and learn, I guess. I'll just carry biscuits in my pocket. Shit. You know his weakness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is incredible. And we could definitely learn more The monuments were probably used in connection with social events and rituals and featured distinctive limestone T-shaped pillars. Some of the pillars. Okay, so what we just learned is that in the sister site to this location, they found T-shaped pillars, and one of them had the face of a human on it, which is like one of the first known to have a human face, which is interesting. Either at that particular site or at both. I missed that part, but recent excavation works have also identified the remains of non-monumental structures which appear to stem from domestic buildings. The communities that built the monumental megalithic structures of Göbekli Tepe lived during during one of the most monumentous transitions in human history, one which took us from the hunter-gatherer lifeways to the first farming communities. The monumental buildings demonstrate the creative human genius of these early pre-pottery Neolithic societies. And like, this is one of those arguments that I like to really emphasize. And this is like, I guess, a personal feeling, but it is more exceptional and incredible and mysterious to me to know that people, like ancient people, who were able to create these things, right? Like, it's just so cool. Okay. And then let's read this one. The Vikings left behind short texts written in runes. An example of this can be seen in the Mosque of Hagia. Hey! I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm probably not, but Sofia in Istanbul, Turkey. These are evidence of Viking travels in the world. Oh, it's a short read. Excellent. The traces that the Vikings left behind do not consist of nuanced written sources which explain their activities. Instead, they left behind short texts written in runes. Some of these shed light upon their travels in the world. One of the most well-known examples can be seen in the mosque in Istanbul, Turkey. Here, 2 Vikings visited and carved their names in runes inside the building, which at that time was a church. They were called Halvdan Istanbul, which was known as Constantinople, was the capital of Byzantine, one of the great powers of the 10th century, which Koga told us all of this already. There are accounts that tell us about Viking expeditions to Constantinople in which plundering took place, but it is also mentioned that Vikings were employed as bodyguards to the Byzantine Empire. Perhaps Halvdan and R worked as bodyguards at the court and got bored. That Istanbul, not Constantinople. This says it was then known as Constantinople. It's more like Hagia Sophia. It's Greek for holy wisdom. It used to be a church. Thank you. Uther was here. Yeah. The understanding of math and physics that were required to build lots of these structures without the tools we use today is an absolute incredible. Yeah. And like how did they communicate the math and the physics and everything else? Like, how was it viewed for them? Was it viewed in the same way we view it, or like, you know, our mathematicians and our physics people, whatever, look at it? Or is it like somebody like me who, like, maybe I just have a basic understanding of how it works, and it's like, I think that if we do it this way, this is going to make the most sense. Like, oh, it's just so neat. And like, obviously we have, like, sometimes we can find recorded evidence of these individuals knowing precisely what they're doing and why they're doing it with intention. But it's just so interesting. I'll distract him with belly rubs. It's a song. Alex, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know that I like literally just disappoint you all the time, and I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. Alex, thank you for paying your taxes. Welcome in. Not necessarily. You just needed skills and or a tradition of building stuff like this. Also trial and error. Yeah, it's like a combination of, all jokes aside, I do believe that ancient civilization accomplished these things, but the knowledge was lost because of civilization's conquest. Yes, Ron, I agree with that. I think that there's a lot of information that's missing due to different elements that have happened over time, or different situations that have happened over time. It's like I said earlier, I'm always in awe at the intricate sculptures or artifacts that people back then were able to make with no real machinery and advanced tools. Yeah, especially the large scale ones on the ground. That are only visible from high in the air, meaning they themselves never actually got to see the fruits of their labors. Yes. Like Oh my gosh. I'm now forgetting what they're called, but the gosh, those figures that were created by individuals from the like the ancient Incan civilization. Words are escaping me.
Architecture and the exact position.
In gatekeeping, Cool Kids Club, who knew how to make cool stuff, liked being the only ones who could make them. Yeah. Yeah. How interesting.
Matched the centuries
We're getting
old
back
Georgian
into
descriptions of Escho's burial site. Excavations at the wider site have uncovered a thriving medieval settlement. Artifacts from the dig are due to be displayed at the Art Vin Museum, and plans are underway to preserve the tomb chamber and open the site to visitors. This discovery fills a major gap in Georgian medieval history, as for generations, only 2 royal tombs were unaccounted for, those of Queen Tamar and King Ashot. Now one mystery has finally been solved. Our next feature this month brings us
the
to site of
Nazca
Teotihuacan
lines.
in Mexico.
Oh,
Known
Henry.
for its monumental pyramids, complex residential compounds,
For real
the Avenue
though.
of the Dead,
That's an American
and
anthropology
murals.
degree for
this
you right
site
there,
reached
okay?
its height 1,000 years ago and was once the largest city in the Americas. The name we know it by was given to it centuries after its fall by the Aztecs, and roughly means where the sun came into being. Both the city of Teotihuacan and its associated civilization are referred to by this name. We actually don't even know what they called themselves. Its influence throughout Mesoamerica is well documented, and even on this show, I have previously featured discoveries that highlight its relationship with.
I think, interestingly, Ron, I might agree with you, but there's also that element of, I think that they utilized different modalities of control. And maybe there was like a little bit of less ego in it, but it was definitely different modalities of control in order to like maintain the power dynamics. A lot of ancient cultures used reciprocity as a means of controlling their communities and their, people, which made it so that like it made sense for the people to do hard work and to work together in order to accomplish a collective goal, which I just think is also really interesting. It's not only just reciprocity, but it's just interesting to think about.
Within nearby Maya. Yet, despite its connections with the literate Maya, the primary language and writing of the Teotihuanicos remains unknown. Whereas the decipherment of other Mesoamerican writing systems has provided us with a wealth of information about their own written sources. But now, linguist Magnus Faro Hansen and archaeologist Christoph Helmke think they have cracked it. In their new paper, they propose that Teotihuacan's writing system encodes an early Uto-Aztecan language. I caught up with them earlier this month to learn more about this exciting discovery and how they came upon it. Let's dig in to what they had to say.
Welcome to the channel, both of you. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. I'm going to jump right into my first question, which is, can you give us a brief as you can, background about the site of Teotihuacan and its writing and language?
Teotihuacan is one of the main civilizations of Mesoamerica, and it's usually framed around the capital of the civilization, which is the city itself, Teotihuacan. But one of the things that we usually forget is that there are multiple sites that are connected with the civilization, and has a very distinctive architecture, funerary practices. And one of the things that we're focusing on is the writing system. And the thing that's interesting for us is that until now, there hasn't been a real phonetic decipherment of Teotihuacan writing, unlike Maya and Aztec writing, which have been deciphered.
I actually did a paper on Teotihuacan.
No worries, Ron. Take care of business.
Undergraduate degree, and I remember reading about how it's very mysterious because it's one of the few sites that it's absolutely huge and everyone knows about it, but we actually haven't been able to decipher its language. So that's really, really cool that you guys have potentially
word for word, Koga.
What exactly prompted you to start your project on this particular subject?
So I'm a specialist in the linguistic history of certain languages of Mesoamerica and Western Mexico. And Christoph is
Mesoamerica was
writing
also
and
the word I was thinking.
We started out doing a project where I was a postdoc and Christoph was my supervisor, where we were planning to look at how well Yucatecan languages that were prior to the Nahuatl language.
That's what I was trying to say earlier, Alex, and I think you vanished. But isn't Decipher trying to discover the language itself and I don't know, that might not be the most accurate way of describing that, but then Translate is trying to translate a language through something else. You're trying to use it as a through line, but is that right? Decipher versus translate. Translate is trying to use other languages in order to understand, but decipher is trying to like uncover the actual like. Alec, can you tell us why that's the case? With all those high-tech devices, we knew people were capable of so much when they weren't arguing with each other on the internet. You ever look at the American equivalent of the Aztecs? No, but I might have learned about it through I might have learned about it through my most recent course, but it didn't, like, I didn't retain that information super duper well because of my freaking senioritis dumbass brain. But true, if you have more information, put it in the freaking comments right the fuck now, okay? More or less, there are no parallel texts to go off of. That's so much better. I like that.
Which is what I mostly specialize in, would fit as a potential candidate language for Teotihuacan writing.
Nobody can read
and
it.
our plan was to look
mostly
mostly at how
that's
the
what I would
sequences of
assume too.
glyphs matched the potential sequences of what would be expected from words and morphemes, like word parts, in this Yutostecan language that I was working to reconstruct. The project there was basically just to see whether it might even make sense to think of this language as a candidate language, because it had been mentioned many times as a possible candidate, and also rejected many times as a possible candidate, because some scholars found it makes sense for this language to have been spoken in this area because we know that it was spoken there historically, and others would say it doesn't make sense for this area, this language to be spoken in this language at this time because the Nawa people came later into this area than what we consider to be the time when Teotihuacan writing was produced. To our surprise, we came up with some evidence that suggested that it was a good.
I'm super excited.
And so then can you kind of expand a bit on exactly what the hypothesis is that you found the support for?
The hypothesis that other scholars have already sort of aired or suggested around 2000, when the first studies really showed that Teotihuacan had an actual writing system. Now what was mentioned
so
as
cool, Alex!
Trying to sort of suggest potential readings in Nahuatl. The problem with that is that Nahuatl, as we know it and as it has been applied, is a fairly late language that we know only from around the 16th century.
How did
which
they?
Is of course more than 1,000.
Hold on, wait, no, I want to do one more. Yuri, okay. The ancient script of Maya baffled scholars for centuries, widely viewed as one of the greatest civilizations of the Western Hemisphere, which peaked around 80 to 50 to 900. You go off of symbol frequency. Whoa! Oh, okay. So how often? Okay. Was an integral part of the decipherment process of the Maya script. Ooh. Caral Supe civilization. I'm gonna also look them up. Come on. Let me copy this. Freaking! Please hold. There we go. All right. We'll look at that in a second. You need a certain degree of understanding of language mechanics before you can try to translate. Worst case scenario, you end up translating idiom words for word, and I encourage anyone in chat to translate word for word, going the whole 9 yards into any other language and make it make sense without context. See, and this is one of the things about like anthropology as a whole, especially how it's studied in like the Western world, is like linguistic anthropology is fascinating at a distance, but it is not the thing that I am the most fascinated about when it comes to humans and our incredible capacity to exist. Because I have no desire to want to try and do that, but it is fascinating and I want someone to do that, you know? Alex? Okay, made a major breakthrough by providing compelling evidence that many of the Mayan glyphs were symbolic. Wait, syllabic in nature, representing sounds rather than ideas, and that these symbols could be used to decipher words and their meanings. There were 2 times when I went, this is sick, from stuff around language teaching. This is sick. But Alex, what, and you probably have talked to us about this before, but like what compelled you finally to pursue linguistics as like the thing you want to pursue? Whoa, look at this. I mean, I do speak a few languages, but I'm by no means a linguist. I just had Latin being into me to make sense of primary text, which is real rad. Okay, so although a combination of Cold War politics and academic rivalry meant that it took decades before his work was widely accepted, is now allowed for the role it played in uncovering the secrets of the Maya. He was the first person to successfully demonstrate the phonetic nature of Mayan hieroglyphic writing. However, it took a while. See, look, from what I've learned, oh, I'm so bad at pronunciation, bruh. He wasn't the easiest student in school, which means if anybody can become a freaking genius, okay? He insisted his kitty be listed as a co-author. Really? Oh my god. I love it. He had a will of his own and described as eccentric. However, teachers apparently recognized his intelligent artistic skills, including playing the violin and writing poetry. Okay, so maybe you do need to be a prodigy. Never mind. We know, just 17, he enrolled in the Faculty of History at the university. Why does he look like the grumpy cat? Because, you know what? I don't know. The photo is iconic. He loved the cat. He might not look it, but he loved it. Maybe that's just his face. He's got resting grumpy cat face. Okay, so he studied Egyptian hieroglyphics, or hieroglyphs, pardon me. And then that was interrupted. And then he traveled with his father and mother. This murky period of his life gave rise to a popular but apocryphal anecdote about what sparked his interest in the Maya. He's supposed to have rescued a rare book from the German National Library while it was set ablaze during the Battle of Berlin. It contained reproductions of 3 Maya codices, which would later form the basis of his codices, pioneering research. How interesting. You mean why I went in linguistics versus translation, or my interest in languages? Yeah, Alex. Because that photo was sent to spite his editor. Wait, really, Koga? Yeah, that is super cool. Armchair archaeology. In cultural studies, it is important to experience your research area with all your senses and to understand the culture and its manifestations in the context where it originated. He didn't study the Maya script in isolation, as he possessed a lengthy history of studying other writing languages in the world. A methodological advantage, along with not having to study amid people of the establishment or groupthink. Aided in his endeavor with the manuscript. How interesting. Okay. And then the Corral. Oldest civilization in the Americas. Norte Chico culture. Which one? I'm in linguistics! The first one! They had a fight about including his cat as a co-author, both by name and on the book cover photo. That was the only photo he sent to the publishing house when they were really pressed for time to go to print. Dude, what a fucking legend. It is a huge archaeological significance because woven materials found in and around the site have been carbon dated to 3000 BC. which is 2,000 years earlier than previous estimations of the birth of civilization in Peru. This makes it the most ancient in the Americas and one of the most ancient in the world, comparable to Egypt, India, and China. That's sick. I love learning about different cultures, particularly those in Peru or along like that western border of South America. Historians had known of the ancient city of Caral for more than a century. However, a lack of pottery fragments and other remains dampened interest in the site, and excavation did not begin until 1996. The peripheral zone has a number of residential clusters whose layout corresponds to the contours of the valley. It should be noted that residential constructions were both domestic houses and workshops. The largest of Caral's pyramids in Templo Mayor, Great Temple, in the upper sector of the central zone, measures 150 meters or 490 feet in length and 110 meters or 360 feet in width, and 28 meters or 92 feet in height. Holy shit. There's a circular sunken plaza in front of the templo, backed by an impressive staircase that ascended what? I have something like caught in my throat. To the residential and ritual buildings contained on the pyramid. Another noteworthy upper sector pyramid is De la Huanca, Pyramid of the Standing Stone. I think Huanca is like a term used to describe like places of significance or items of significance. They're like holy items. Which is 55 meters or 180 feet in length. It is aligned with a Huanca standing stone. Okay, standing stone. At ground level, and for this reason, it is assumed to have had an astronomical function. Yeah, kind of crazy how that was such a hotbed. Yeah. This is awesome. That's why I said that if I ever get a picture in a book, I'll wear my Fuck Google Ask Me a t-shirt. Wah! Cool, I love it. So translation work is harder to find here currently, and linguistics can be pivoted into machine translation, natural language processing, etc. And I just jive with the almost mathematical element of it, how there's logic to it, there's freedom in how you can approach it, but it has structure to it, you know? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Alex, that makes a lot of sense. And also the whole mathematical element to it, I can see that. That checks out. With you specifically. Thank you for sharing, Alex. I like learning. I mean, you've probably told me that before, but I like learning about you over and over again. Historians had known of the ancient city of Caral for more than a century. However, a lack of pottery fragments and other remains dampened the interest. Okay, once they started digging, though, they came across very significant artifacts, including 32 flutes made of condor and pelican bones, 37 cornets made of deer and llama bones, a knotted textile piece thought to be a quipu, a system of counting in the absence of a written language, which continued into the Inca era, which is sick. Super sick. You guys know how much I love talking about quipu. And if you don't, you'll learn. Jewelry made of stone beads. Interestingly, no trace of warfare, such as battlements, weapons, or mutilated bones, has so far been found at Caral, leading to the supposition that it was a peaceful society. The revelations of the age of Caral have served to shift archaeological interest away from the Peruvian highlands, where the Chavín culture had been previously known as the first civilization of the region. Ooh, how interesting. I think we briefly learned this because I took a class that was all about the ancient Incan civilization. But I do remember the Chavín culture and possibly the Caral. But I can't say for certain. I'm so happy I decided to skip my nap, sleepy but happy. Koga! I'm so happy you did as well. This is awesome. I really appreciate the contribution to the conversation. I love having these talks. I love when you guys bring your own like wealth of knowledge to the conversation. This fills me with so much joy. So thank you. And when I catch stuff in work where one kindergarten level English textbooks have character named in such a way that their names together make the English alphabet, so you know all the names. You can write the alphabet. And 2, a phrase book can be the bare minimum enough for a language lesson because you expand on the vocabulary of a phrase, its grammar, its cultural aspect ad nauseum. I reassured myself that it's the language stuff, not the teaching stuff, that draws me to it. Hell yeah. Like, I'm not all that interested in history, to be honest, but language stuff, that's the good shit. And at the end of the day, language and history are kind of tethered together, so you do learn your history, but yeah, I get you. That's so interesting, because it is not, like, obviously, this is the, like, fundamental difference of people that is getting me all excited, but, like, I have no interest in the language elements per se. It is interesting, it's cool, but it's not really for me. But the history stuff got me freaking on my knees, okay? And then you're on the other end of that spectrum. Nikki, hello, Bean. How are you doing? Welcome in. How are you? How is the day going? Go and follow Nikki if you guys haven't already. Nikki's a gem and my twin. And I love her. Just like actual history, if you fail to learn from history class, you're doomed to repeat it. Guys, fucking learn. Towards Peru's little understood coastal region. Yes, okay, so I do remember this actually, where the conversation was, is it the highlands that was the start of the progression towards the Incan civilization, or was it the coast? And clearly, it makes sense. And it almost makes sense, and I don't know all the specifics of this, so I'm not going to necessarily speak to it as if I know for sure, but it almost can make sense as far as like how people traveled from one continent to another across, you know, landforms, as, what is it, Beringia or whatever, was like being formed, and then like whatever, that they would move towards the coast, because the coast is going to have a shit ton of means of eating and like resources to be able to like attend to yourself. And how different all this is versus like a year ago when I was doubting myself so much about, is this really what I want to do? Am I actually drawn to it because other therapy works and being awarded for what you can do works, folks? Yes, Alex! I'm so proud of you, dude! Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Alex is a testament. I'm like the polar opposite to you. I focused on the history and culture, but because translations are always inaccurate, I picked up a few languages on the way. Also, because in my field of study, there's almost no major work translated from my niche field of expertise. I love hearing you guys talk to each other. Stop it. Or watching. I woke up later than usual, but starting my day. How are you? How are things? And happy Sunday. Welcome to the waking life. I hope your Sunday is going super duper well and you're getting your coffee and your food and everything else. I'm doing well. I'm actually really grateful that I decided to stay with this. Because I was very tired this morning and I almost canceled stream again, but I'm glad I didn't, because I miss doing Sunday socials. I miss chatting about all things history and learning and people and everything else. So I'm really happy that we did this. I'm having a good Sunday and it's really good to see you. Richard, thank you so much for the 3 stream streak. How are you doing? How is your evening? How is your Sunday going? Fuck, why do I have to fall for the ones taken? Don't mind me yelling at myself out loud. I see. Keep sitting with these emotions. You got this. We believe in you. I'm so sorry you're having to deal with a lot of shit though. True. That's where translators traditionally came from. Field experts translating stuff they need. Hell yeah. Streak! Can remember reading a while ago a piece on how people traveled across land and were then separated from their ancestral homeland generations later when bodies of water formed with no way of getting back to or communicating that to their homeland. Yeah. In my current course, we've gone through kind of like the whole like the progress of humans through like biology. We're talking more along the lines of like genetics and biology and whatnot, and we did have quite a girthy part of it being about humans and other hominids, kind of how we traveled from like all over the world, where we might have started from, where it makes sense to have started from. It's really interesting stuff. I'm in a van, broke down, waiting for a tow truck. What? Richard, why? I like trolling with my exact field of study. People scratch their heads when I say I focused on para-religious practice and phenomenology because saying I've got an academic background in the history of magic gets me funny looks. But Koga, that's so cool! It actually is so fucking cool, dude. What the heck? I wanna know more about your freaking degree. I wanna know more. Like, what's the most interesting part of your study that you have found to date? Because for me, as an anthropology, like, bachelor degree, like undergraduate level person, it has been my studies of Mesoamerica and specifically the ancient Incan civilization. I am like proper obsessed with the range of regional ethnicities, the range of mortuary practice, the range of cultural and like societal and like political structure of ancient Inca and their whole civilization. In a van down by the river. Work van has died on me, so now I have to wait to be rescued. No. I mean, that sucks. That absolutely sucks. But also, it gives you a little bit of a break. Impromptu break. I know somebody from another streamer's community who's a theology major. Do they stream? That's so cool. What the heck? Tell them I would love to talk with them on a Sunday. Bangs, head, and pillow. I'm sorry, Icy. Last time that happened, I waited long enough to get halfway through Tiger King. Oh my god. I want to go home. I get you. I'm sorry, Richard. You deserve to be home. From the ancient Greek times, when the term magic appeared, up until the 90s, the term magic was used more of a slur. If we do it, it's faith. If they do it, it's magic. Ooh! Guys, learning! I'm obsessed. Tiger King, please. Don't put into context like that, Alex. No. It's Uncharted time. Hi, Uncharted. Welcome in. True. Actually, thank you for sharing this, because I would love to do more digging on this later. This is so fucking neat. I love learning. Okay, we're gonna go back to here, and I'm gonna let them keep talking. We're here.
1,000 years after the Teotihuacan texts were produced. So it was sort of suggested that this would be a good candidate because we know that now people in the early colonial and late post-classic period were living in that area. And that they had been living there for at least a couple of hundred years, if not more. So that's the hypothesis basically that we decided to test. But to test that well, we had to find the stage of the language that would have been spoken.
Yeah, tell me,
Uncharted. A little bit more than 1,000 years before Nahuatl was first documented in the 16th century. So that required us to sort of roll back the sound changes and the grammatical changes that a language undergoes over a millennium. Compare Nahuatl, the Nahuatl varieties that exist.
You
with
practice
each other
magic.
What is the earliest form of
That's crazy
of Nahuatl, and then compare this form of Nahuatl with other languages of the same family to find out what would it have been like even before it turned into this earliest form of Nahuatl. And that is what we were trying to test. Then, how well does this language, as it we have figured out it would have been spoken, how does that fit with?
I just want to take a really quick note to say this is so fun because when I took my my linguistic class, it was obviously I just took one class. I didn't really like deep dive into it, but one of the things that was talked about is how language continues to evolve over time and how words tend to change their meanings over time, right? And we see that especially right now with words that are used by kids, right? In like different generations. And so it's like what he just said of like they're trying to decipher whether or not the word that we are coming to understand what it might mean would have meant the same thing to them back then are similar to, and I can't think of any words right now. Of course I can't because my brain isn't going to be able to do it. But you guys might be able to think of a word that, you know, maybe 10, 12 years ago meant one thing, but because new generations have either adopted it or, you know, something has changed, it has evolved into something else. And so when we think about future archaeologists, future linguists, future people who are going to look back and study our cultures, like they're going to see that word and they're going to have to try and dig back and see, well, did I don't know, bitch. Did bitch mean, was it a derogatory term used to call somebody else some sort of like negative situation, or did it mean it was a female dog, or what does it mean further back? Like, it's so interesting. We are currently living in a time where people in the future are going to look at as their history, and it's fascinating. Blame Christian culture. The only wizard in the Bible is Solomon. He's the Giga Chad. Freaking Giga Chad Solomon. A Russian native 8-year-old kid said, "Let me speedrun this," in Russian, meaning to do it quickly. See? Yes! Yes! Gothic, I love having you here. Thank you for paying your taxes. Matsuma, thank you for paying your taxes. How you doing today? Hello. Enjoy your lurk, Gothic.
With the writing system.
The writing system is something that I've been working on for the better part of 20
yes!
years now.
Yes, Gay. That's what I'm talking about.
With a series of colleagues, especially here in Europe, and also
and it's going to be so confusing.
North America and Mexico. And the task
if
that
there
we
are
had,
scientists to look back on 2000, stuff,
after the seminal publication that Mounds mentioned, the task was then to start looking at the writing system in epigraphic terms. So which signs are used to convey names, which sign combinations are used to refer to dates, to titles, to place names, to deity names, and things like that. Because of the way the writing is structured, it's very figurative.
Thick section.
Some would say pictographic. So there is a fair degree of transparency as to what the signs represent. It does require, the imagery and the kind of recourse that they're making to graphic conventions for representing different signs.
That's why I think Horizon Zero Dawn is such an interesting book through an anthropological outlook,
and
because it's like we are literally looking at the history
essentially
through like
so we have
in a technologically similar
on syntax
realm
and what these signs are trying to convey, but without a language to test or to try it against.
Or like,
actually resolving
oh my
God. Reading it phonetically. And that was the major impasse. And so there are colleagues that have tried to do readings with Nahuatl, the Aztec language, but the problem again is there's a temporal dissonance.
Yeah, I see. Don't think about it then.
Was mentioned already, because there's more than 1,000 years between the text that we have at Teotihuacan and the Nahuatl language as recorded shortly after the Spanish conquest. Think about Shakespeare's English, and then 1,000 years before, we're essentially looking at the earliest version of Beowulf. So it'd be attempting to read Beowulf with Shakespeare.
Oh, I hate it!
So the semantic decipherment that Christoph mentions is basically like if you see a picture of a flower, you can say, oh, this is a flower. They probably use their word for flower to read the sign. But since many of the writing systems in Mesoamerica use the rebus principle to write words using a sign that looks like one thing, but writing a word that sounds like the same thing, we need to know the sound to be able to read those phonetic applications of the same sound. And that requires us to
yeah.
Yeah, is the
Koga, that's so interesting. See, but that's what I'm saying.
Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, I very briefly did Babylonian cuneiform during my undergraduate, and logogram is a word that will haunt me.
Does anybody know how many, like, does anybody know, this probably is known, but like, at what point did we have the least number of known languages on the planet? Because like right now we have thousands of languages that we are like aware of, but like do we know at what point we had the least number of different languages being spoken by different groups of people, even if they didn't know each other? I don't know if anybody knows that, or if I'd have to do like a weird search for it.
From that.
It's a very useful word because it also describes the way that our own,
because it's hard to determine when we like language started, right? Who's the first person who decided to create a language, I guess. But
for someone with the number 4.
Some things are fairly easy to represent, and other things are more difficult.
Okay, gay.
And so their
You're right.
is usually made to represent something that sounds like something else. And then
the average level of Spanish in chat.
That's where the rebus principle is very interesting.
I can Google translate it.
We've talked a bit about the Teotihuacan writing and how it's only been in the past 20 years that we even really realized they had writing, and now we're only just starting to be able to begin to decipher it. Can either of you comment on why exactly it's taken us so long to kind of come to that conclusion, and the history of looking into their writing per se?
Already in the 1980s, there were a lot of efforts made to create a sign catalog of the signs, but the people that were working with that
I want you to share it anyway, but I have a feeling
in their work, and then in the end, started thinking that maybe Teotihuacan writing wasn't actually writing at all, and then started calling it a notational system and by other more loose terms. But already in the 1930s, the first Mexican scholars to look at it, especially Alfonso Caso, they had no doubt that it was a writing system. And I think part of the reason why there's been reticence in terms of recognizing it outright as a writing system is because of the format of the writing system itself. Teotihuacan writing is a little bit different than other Mesoamerican writing systems in the sense that they tend to write in terms of what's usually described as emblematic.
How are you doing today?
Even when glyphs appear on murals, they're usually presented in a very large format that's a bit larger than you would expect. It almost dominates the whole scene. There's
Good,
also
I'm learning. I'm having a good
artistic
day.
or calligraphic
It's so good to
decorative
see
use
you.
of writing, where they might write a toponym, but instead of writing it once, they might write it repeatedly, and then it becomes almost a decorative pattern. And so there, the line gets very quickly blurred between what's writing and kind of the aesthetic qualities of writing and decorative uses of it. And then finally, there are very, very few texts at Teotihuacan.
Decorative
So
use
one
of
of the things
writing?
that's been the major challenge that we have, that we faced, and that we continue to face, is that it's a very small corpus of texts, fewer than 300 texts in all. And when we say texts, we're referring to very, very short glyphic captions, essentially. Sometimes the text can just be a single date, a monument with a date on it. Long linear text is one of the things that is an extreme rarity. They do exist, but that's not the major use.
Let's go ahead and hop right into. I'm gonna pause the video. I'm so sorry. We're never gonna finish it. Okay, we're never gonna get to any of the other things. We're never gonna hear what Neil deGrasse Tyson thinks about getting older. But we will get to Alex's paper that he referenced. So you know what? Priorities. Like trees existed before yeah. I did months of Spanish Duolingo before going on vacation, and then they just used a different dialect, and it was basically useless, Tom. A for effort, though. You know, A for effort. You tried. hey, Tom. I tried learning Spanish. So like I'm Puerto Rican. My family speaks Spanish. Nobody taught me. So then I went and I literally took 2 years of Spanish in college. I retained none of it. So, you know. I'm studying to be an archaeologist. Are you serious? I guess you could say that my life is ruined. Adriano, was that just the joke? Or are you actually studying to be an archaeologist? Because 1, I got really excited. 2, that's a really good joke. So were there clans or tribes who called trees something else, only to be overruled over time? Or not overruled, but like... Oh, yeah, I don't know. Whoa. Okay, I'll try to keep it within a single message. Plicare in Latin gave birth to 2 verbs with opposite meanings in 2 different Romance languages, because Roman ships folded their sails when arriving in Hispania. Llegar means to arrive, because in Dacia they folded their tense when they left. Pleca, is it pleca or plesa? Pleca in Romanian means to leave. Same verb origin, opposite meaning resulting verbs. Wait, that's cool! Wait, that's cool! And yes, it is a perfect segue into the article. I was on Duolingo for 2 years before they deleted my account for no reason. Wait, Dr. Broctopus, what the fuck? You should have sent in a complaint. Japan now has Kazari Aigo, decorative English. What is that? I don't know what that means. Huh? What the heck? Decorative English. Is this okay? Yeah. SAS. It produces your good dive life. Okay, I'm excited. Wait, let me make sure that's here so I don't lose it. Had to dust off that old joke. Damn it! I'm joking. I'm trying to own a grocery store. You know what, Adriano? That's very fair. That was a good fucking joke, dude. I love this kind of thing. Isn't that so cool? Gay! Welcome back. Also, Pisces, not leaving us forever. Okay, here's something to think about for you. Oxford University existed for hundreds of years before the Aztec Empire was founded. Wait, really? Adriana, thank you for paying your taxes. I did. They didn't respond. Fuck them. Noir, how are you doing? Oh my god, it's so good to see you. There's auto-autonomy. Where the same word in language is an antonym to itself. I can't keep up with that. I'd still love to learn Spanish and French, just not through them. Yeah, agreed. People in Japan are getting tattoos of random English words too. Oh my god, that's fun. Peruse can mean to consider with attention and detail or look over, and thorough in a casual or cursory manner. Oh, yes. Okay, I understand now. Thank you for really just holding my hand through that. These are the only taxes I actually want to pay. Thank you, Adriana. I appreciate that. The NRS won't come for you this time. I mean, my Spanish is abysmal, but it's like the 5th or 6th language I speak, depending if you're counting Latin or not. I count it. Okay, let me read this article to you guys. It's like a bedtime story. Tool use and the language shares syntactic, I think, processes and neural patterns in the basal ganglia. What do y'all know about the basal ganglia? It's in the brain, right? Syntactic processes in the basal ganglia subserve both tool use and language such that training one ability boosts the other. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Makes you think fondly of the various time-based facts of different cultures that existed at the same time. The samurai being able to fax Abraham Lincoln is a great example. So, Henry, that blew my mind because I'm really bad with numbers, which then equates to being really bad with anything that uses numbers, like math, like time. So, when I'm given dates, which is very funny because as an archaeologist, anthropologist, you have a lot of dates you have to deal with, and I am so bad. I'm so bad at the date situation. It like blew my mind to know the overlap of times. It still does. Like that fact in and of itself blows my mind. Do you get to use it regular or some just get westy? I love basal ganglia in my pasta. That's pretty good. Speak English, Nikki. I am. My ganglia be ganglion, baby. Put that gangly away. Facts on a technicality. I used to at work constantly, and Twitch helps a lot to keep the top 4 fresh. Hell yeah. Cleopatra in relation to the pyramids is another one. Holy shit. Okay. I'm gonna get into this. Okay. Literally nothing. Let's go ahead and go back to here. Maybe I'll get a little bit more information on this. Okay. Common basis for language and tool use. The tool use and language are hallmarks of human evolution. Because of the similarity between the motor processes for tool use and those supporting language, it has been hypothesized that syntax and tool use may share brain resources. Okay, what does syntax mean again? Using functional magnetic resonance imaging and multivariate pattern analysis, some smart asses. Miss Angie, thank you for paying your taxes. How you doing today, baby? I love getting to see you. Hi, I love you more. Same with the eras of dinosaurs. The Cretaceous dinosaurs are closer to humans. Yes. The dinosaur stuff also really did fuck me up. Is the structure of a language, I believe. Syntax is how sentences come together. Okay, thank you. Europe still had woolly mammoths when the pyramids were getting built is one that gives me headaches. Yes! Okay. I'm all over the place. So some really big brains found that small portions of the basal ganglia in the human brain act as common neural substrates for both tool use and syntax language. So it could be used for both, yeah? In a behavioral experiment, they showed that learning a novel task that involves the use of a tool also improves performance in a complex language task. These results further support the hypothesis of a coevolution of tool use and language that is so fucking cool. Syntax is basically the structure of words in a sentence. Hell yeah. Okay, thank you guys. Tool use is a hallmark of human evolution. We're going to read well, you know what? This is a really short paper. Let's fucking go. Okay, so we read all of that, right? That's, yeah. Beyond its sensory motor components, the complexity of which has been extensively investigated, tool use affects cognition from a different perspective. Indeed, tool use requires integrating an external object as a body part and embedding its functional structure in the motor program. So basically, we use it as an extension of ourselves. This adds a hierarchical level into the motor plan of manual actions, subtly modifying the relationship between interdependent subcomponents. Okay. Embedded structures also exist in language, and syntax is the cognitive function handling these linguistic hierarchies. One example is center-embedded object-relative clauses. The poet that the scientist admires reads the paper. Accordingly, researchers have advanced... Wait, so... embedded structures also exist in language. So are we saying that that embedded structure that's in italics is actively in the sentence, or is it something assumed? Have advanced a role for syntax and action and the existence of similarities between the processes underlying tool use and language, so that shared neural resources for a common cognitive function could be at stake. Which could, like, in a I don't understand this quite yet, but I have a basic understanding of how humans have, like, evolved over time. That makes a lot of sense, because it theoretically, the more things you can stack into one, like, resource that eventually takes up energy, the better, right? We are, like, biologically evolved to do the least amount of work to accomplish the greatest amount of tasks. In theory, right? Like, our body doesn't necessarily want to have to work if it does not have to work. So it kind of can make, like, I could see where this could make sense of, like, one system can work two different things at the same time. The Aztec Empire began as an alliance of three, is it Nahua? Altepetl, city-states. These three city-states ruled the area in and around the Valley of Mexico from 1428 until the combined forces of the Spanish 1521. Meanwhile, in England, Oxford University was already well established. It has no known date of foundation, but there is evidence of teaching as far back as... Whoa. That is genuinely insane. Nikki, don't make me diagram sentences. I beg. No. It's okay. You don't have to. I'll pretend like I understand so no one has to do any extra work. Yeah, that is insane. Timing is insane. Okay, so the rationale. We first tested the existence of shared neural substrates for tool use in syntax and language. Second, we tested the prediction that training one ability should affect performance in the other. In the first experiment, we measured participants' brain activity with functional magnetic resonance imaging, it's a tool, during tool use, or, as a control, manual actions. Okay. In separate runs, the same participants performed a linguistic task on complex syntactic structures. We looked for common activations between tool use and the linguistic task, predicting similar patterns of activity if they rely on common neural resources. In further behavioral experiments, we tested whether motor training with the tool selectively improves syntactic performance in language, and if the syntactic training in language, in turn, selectively improves motor performance with the tool. So that is the modality, right? That is what they are doing. Miss Angie, thank you for the 3-stream streak. I love you to bits and pieces. Love. Okay, so the results. Tool use, planning, and complex syntax processing, i.e. object relatives, elicited neural activity anatomically colloquialized within the basal ganglia. So they found the basal ganglia and they said, there's a lot of stuff lighting up in here when people are doing these two different activities. A control experiment ruled out verbal working memory and manual, without a tool, control processes as an underlying component of this overlap. Multivariate analysis revealed similar spatial distributions of multivariate analysis. Okay, so it's just a different process. Neural patterns prompted by tool use, planning, and object relative processing. This agrees with the recruitment of the same neural resource by both abilities and with the existence of a supramodal syntactic function. Coordinates, fancy nerd term for stuff happening at the same time. Abraham Lincoln could have sent a fax to a Japanese samurai. The fax machine was invented in 1843 and the samurai ceased to exist in 1867 and Lincoln died in 1865. Yes, Henry mentioned that earlier as well, which is super silly and super fun. Where was I? This agrees. The shared neurofunctional resources were moreover reflected behaviorally by cross-domain learning transfer. Okay, so indeed, tool use training significantly improved linguistic performance with complex and so when they used the tools, they had an improved linguistic performance, and then I'm assuming vice versa. No learning transfer was observed on language syntactic abilities if participants trained without the tool. So without a tool, so manual exertion saw no benefit to the language syntactic. But with a tool, you saw improvement. The reverse was also true. Syntactic training with complex sentences improved motor performance with the tool more than motor performance in a task without a tool, which is interesting. Because the tool is literally just a extension of ourselves, but we have to tap into a certain area, and I'm assuming the basal ganglia, in order to be able to use it effectively, to like execute that task effectively. Whoa. Okay. Without to match the sensory motor difficulty. No learning transfer was observed on tool use if participants trained with simpler syntactic. Ooh, and it's even the same for that. So the complex syntactic structures and the use of a tool, which is a complex motor ability for the human body, correlate. These findings reveal the existence of a supramodal syntactic function that is shared between language and motor processes. As a consequence, training tool use abilities improves linguistic syntax, and reciprocally, training linguistic syntax abilities improves tool use. Why kids learn language via songs and poems that have associated hand signs, claps, taps, etc. in early stages of development. Yeah, although this is suggesting that there would need to be a tool like in hand. I'm wondering if it has anything to do with the motion of gripping, but I don't know. Maybe. I'm not too sure. The neural mechanisms allowing for boosting performance in one domain of training syntax in the other may involve priming processes through pre-activation of common neural resources, as well as short-term plasticity within the shared network. Does banging with toy? Yes. So I think a toy in hand could be maybe a tool. Maybe. I don't know. But that's just my like understanding. Like it needs to have a tool versus a manual. And I feel like claps would be manual, but I see kind of where you're going with that. Our findings point to the basal ganglia as the neural site of supermodal syntax that handles embedded structures in either domain, and also support long-standing theories of the coevolution of tool use and language in humans. Ooh. Tool use and language share syntactic processes. Functional magnetic resonance imaging revealed that tool use and syntax in language elicit similar patterns of brain activation within the basal ganglia. This indicates common neural resources for the two abilities. Indeed, learning transfer occurs across two domains. Tool use, motor training, improves syntactic processing in language, and reciprocally, linguistic training with syntactic structures improves tool use. I wonder how is this applicable? Like right now, my brain is still kind of like wrapping around all of that. So the application of it in today's terms, or even through the lens of prehistory, like how is that applied? Welcome back, Alex. You missed the entire article. It also makes sense speaking in basically very well controlled muscle movement. Yeah, because we are asking our vocal cords to move and our mouth to move. I was at the start of it. Fair enough. But Alex, this is really interesting. And my question, and I don't know if you have the answer to this, but my question is like, if we were to give an example of this through the lens of like prehistory, right? And like the early stages of learning, or maybe even like an example that makes sense in today's time period, like what would that look like? Because I understand, or at the very least, I think I understand that tool in hand and the use of the tool is what then like works the same area of the brain as complex syntactic processes and vice versa. But like without the tool, I get it. It's not going to be the same. Simple syntactic processes not going to be the same. But like that maybe the way we learn to make tools and how it influenced brain development influence how we develop language. So then the idea could be that the potentiality is that tools or complex language started, which then lended access to making the tools or the complex language, like whatever way that it kind of happened. Okay. I guess I can sort of see that. Co-evolution of tool use and language. They correlate, yeah. Whoa, okay, okay. Very, very, very interesting. The prehistory theories I think this can be tied to is that language and coordination was our hunting advantage. So tool weapon use developed alongside language. That's also a really good way to put it, Gay. Yes, yes. Okay. Language and coordination. I feel like this needs to be expanded because it sounds to me like a slippery slope back to linguistic determinism, and we got rid of that in the 70s. Linguistic determinism. Oh, this is it the Sapir Whorf? Most commonly associated with the US linguist Edward Sapir. And okay, so that the semantic structure of the particular language determines the structure of mental categories among its speakers. I see what you're saying. Okay. Basically, my teacher told us that maybe morphology, how there's a word stem and suffixes, was influenced by how you can tie different spear tips to the same stick. Oh, okay. So that's like the physical. Okay, okay. And so I guess, yeah, I guess for Koga's sentiment, it needs to be, um, like it needs to be separate. We can't view that particular study through the cultural lens of how we know race and, um, like I guess how language could have impacted race and how people, especially like early anthropologists, early natural scientists, used language as a means of trying to distinguishing between different races of people. Yeah, and I think it's that extrapolation. which is unfortunate because I think that the science article is speaking specifically to our early prehistoric periods of time, whereas at least I think, if I'm understanding this correctly, if somebody is to extrapolate it in a more negative direction, it is through the lens of the social construct of like prejudice. And like the ways in which some languages become inferior or superior based on all of that. But I do think the way that Alex, your professor, is discussing it, I can see where that makes sense. And I think that that's a really great way to define that, because it puts language in a more tangible perspective for me. Nothing makes sense. Nothing, Inca. I hear you. I hear you. It's good to see you, Inca. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Which is good, Alex. I think that I think it's more the fear of people, how people are going to take that information. Excuse me. Versus the information itself being problematic. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to sneeze directly into the microphone. Thank you, babe. Thank you, guys. Because obviously we have the definition for linguistic determinism because people are prone to kind of like that slippery slope. But like this by itself in its isolated state is fascinating. And it makes a lot of sense and I like it. Now that my ears are bleeding, well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to sneeze into you. Babe, I miss you. You should just come home. I also think it reminds us language is a tool, not some inherent quality we pluck from the ether. Yes. Also that. I agree though. I agree, Gay. It being viewed as a tool is important, and a tool that people have learned to wield differently, but not in a way that is better or worse than anyone else. But that might just be like, again, it's an extrapolation, so it's like a different conversation than what's being had here. This inherently, as Koga said, is interesting. It's very neat. Gothic, thank you for the 7-stream streak, baby. How is the break? How's the reading? What are you reading today? I feel a little overwhelmed because we have had so many wonderful people come through and hang out with us today, and I've wanted to give every single one of you a shout out, but I've also been like focused. And so if I may just take a moment, consider, if you think somebody sounds really interesting and cool and awesome, consider clicking their name and giving them a little follow, because maybe at some point they'll start streaming, or maybe they're already streamers and they have really interesting things to share. So, you know. Thank you, Henry. Please consider doing so, because we have an exceptional group here. Knowledgeable, entertaining, beautiful, all the things. I'm reading 2 books, Sacred Contracts by Caroline Meese? And Scary Book of Christmas Lore by Tim Rayborn. Okay, both of those sound fascinating. The second one sounds extra fascinating. I think it's the first time I've seen a chat-wide shout out. Well, you know who inspired it, and I will give this person a shout out because they deserve it. Puka. Puka is the one who I have heard say that countless times, and I have yoinked it. I took a little freaking snatcheroo on that bitch. Not puka. The modality. And I love it. So, yeah. Puka is amazing. I could not agree with that more. You guys need to go and follow. They seem smarter than me. I won't follow them. Nikki at least dresses as a clown so I can forget she's smarter than me. Gay, please. Puka, 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 please. Fuck. You snatch Puka snatch? No, I did not. Don't say that. And also don't tell Puka I said that. Tell Puka I love them. That's it. Yeah, for real, Gothic. Big ol' eyeballs for real. Anyway, let's keep listening, yeah?
You've kind of,
now that I've been bare with myself,
traced the language back, traced the roots to try and develop something to help you decipher it. And you've applied it to some of these texts that you've mentioned. So what is some of the stuff that you think you've been, or that
oh my god, for some reason I thought you were talking specifically, Alex, to the comment Gay just posted, and I was very confused. It's more than that, and it's a bit more neurologically entrenched in our brains. But I think to Gay's point, and I think it's beneficial to Gay's point to say that language is a tool, because yes and no, I do agree with that, but it is that element of almost like bringing it back down to an equilibrium and something simple for people to be able to like understand, at least fundamentally, where it's like it is absolutely entrenched in the brain. It is absolutely something that neurologically, like evolutionarily, we have come to develop in conjunction with tool development, as we're kind of like discovering with that article. But I don't know, I think it helped me to ground my understanding of that article a little bit better. Now, I can't assume that anybody else will be able to take that information that Gay just presented and then expound upon it, but it is helpful, at least on like a fundamental level, I guess. But yeah. It's all very interesting. And Alex, thank you for sharing that article. Thanks to everybody who has shared all the things today, because this is part of the reason why I absolutely love this community. I feel like communicating is intrinsic to our brains, but turning that into language is the tool we use. Dan, very interesting. I don't think that you heard our full conversation on it, but this is the article that discusses how tool use and complex syntactic processes like work through the same region of the brain. And so there's a correlation between them, which then can amount to, or like kind of bring us to the co-evolution of tool and language use. But yeah, anyway, I digress. Yes,
you've been able to translate.
When we were starting to work on this, I had all these reconstructions of words in Yugoslav languages fresh in my mind, and Christoph came to me with a book, and he showed me some of the murals. And one of the images that stood out to me was a face with its ears visible and very, very huge earrings that were resembling opuntia cactuses. And the first thing I thought, well, that's a weird thing. That's not something you would wear as an earring, and it's a huge earring. It doesn't really look realistic. And then I realized that in this language that I was reconstructing, the word for ear is naka, and the word for nopal cactus is also naka. Basically, the root is like that. There's a suffix on either of those that makes it a little bit different, but it's nakasa and nakari. So naka would be sort of the shared component of those two. And that's funny. Why would they put those two things that sound the same right next to each other? And then I couldn't sleep that night, and I realized,
that's fun.
Okay, what if it's the name? And then I thought that face had been identified by other scholars as a deity face, as the face of a goddess. But I realized that in the Wiradica language, their main goddess, which is like an
no worries, Gothic. Deity, thank you for popping in.
Her name is Nakawe. And then I thought, okay, could they actually be writing this name here? And that's when I sort of went to Christoph and said, I think this, what do you think about this? And he said, okay, let's look into this some more. Then he would send me images and he'd say, okay, this is a sign that represents this. Do you think this could, what would you think that this would be pronounced like in in this language, or I would say, okay, I found this image. It looks like this. Would it make sense if this could be writing
thank
this?
you so
And
much.
a lot of the times it actually worked out.
I'm happy
The
you were able to
reason
come
why
by.
that particular reading was
Hope you're having a good Sunday.
very suggestive to me, and,
Love having
and I
you here,
thought it was
buddy.
so important, was because in the previous analyses that had been done of these glyphs, we knew that that glyph must fulfill the role of spelling somebody's name or recording somebody's name. And then when Mauna suggested, well, this looks to be recording a name, that matched precisely the parts of speech that we were looking for. So it fulfilled the semantic criteria that we'd already
homophony.
established.
What does that
from
mean?
the outset. And the
I
other
feel like
thing
I've
is
seen
the
that word
practice
before.
of using two logograms or word signs
Homo means
that
same.
sound essentially the same or very closely to one another is actually practice that we
Sound?
know from Aztec writing.
Similar
later on.
sound?
And originally, this was something that was considered to be fairly unique for Aztec writing. And then finding that at Teotihuacan shows that there's more of a direct script continuity in central Mexico that can be traced all the way back to Teotihuacan. And that this practice is probably something that was developed in Teotihuacan and thereby inherited by the Aztec later on, rather than being a particularism of their writing.
So over a year or so, we had some a bit more than 10
night and night are homophones.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Of course they are. Now that makes more sense.
If we applied a specific phonetic value
here and here,
it would
for
make
example,
sense in different contexts.
I'm
and that's
homophonic.
sort of what we were looking for.
I hate when words are the same but are spelled.
Just applying a word to the glyph, but applying it so that it makes sense in another context than its original meaning. Okay, we ended up with a bit more than that, like 15 or 18 readings.
I see it.
Depending
you can't
on how
hide
count
that from
them,
us. We see it on the regular.
Which is actually not a terrible percentage of the glyphs that we have registered.
There's about 115 signs in all, and 300 texts. So yeah, with 15 to 18 what we're calling motivated readings, we're at slightly over 10% in terms of the reading of the or deciphering the different glyphs.
I don't understand.
And we have several additional readings for signs that are purely logographic from what we can see. So they represent the words quite literally for what they represent.
And those readings are the ones that are sort of hypotheses to be checked in the future, right? Because we do hope, of course, that in the near future, lots of more texts will come out of Teotihuacan and the ongoing excavations and finding more murals, finding more ceramics.
You've published a paper on this already. So what is the next steps in this project for you guys? Are you going to be doing more with it, or have you had any pushback from people?
The paper that we've published now, that's sort of the introduction, because we had to introduce the idea of the way that we're working, the idea of this language being something that we can reconstruct, because that's not something everyone would agree on. On the linguistic side, it's been a little bit controversial, because there's been this idea that Nahuas are not they're late comers to central Mexico.
I never thought I would say that, but
at the time of Teotihuacan, they would have been their ancestors would have been way up in the north, right? So we had to introduce this idea that no, actually it makes sense historically and in terms of the time sequence that they could be there. So we had to put all these different base arguments in there, and that meant
I also
get
that
space to represent all of our readings. And actually, I think we've saved the best reading for our next paper.
The other thing is to continue expanding the corpus. So even though there is a rough count of about 300, most of the texts are actually found on ceramics. About 60% of Teotihuacan texts are on portable objects on ceramics, either on sensors or on drinking
has
vases.
Caught me reading
and that corpus is not particularly well documented.
Scientific papers
one of
every now and then I'm like, I'm reading something because it's interesting, and I don't know why. I never thought I would, but here I am.
And also revisiting some of the murals that haven't been
some of my nightly reads are just
drawn in detail. And also we're planning on organizing workshops, and we'd like to organize one in Mexico this coming year to invite some colleagues that work with Teotihuacan writing systems and other related writing systems, and to essentially get their feedback and to put more heads together on this, because we know that this is something that's been very productive for the decipherment of Maya writing.
And you asked about pushback. So the article comes with comments from 10 scholars, and it seems almost like about half are happy and the other half are not completely convinced, and some are very unconvinced. But the interesting thing from our point of view is that it's sometimes the things that they're not convinced by are sort of pointing in opposite directions. So one of them is saying this is not new, and the other one is saying this is not this is too new, this is too weird, we need much stronger evidence for that. And the guy says, no, this is not really new, we've been saying this for a long while. No, so in a way that suggests to me that the pushback is it's coming from two sides that
I haven't done that yet, but now I'm curious.
And think hopefully with workshops showing them the way that we have been thinking and working, they can help us improve some of the parts that are less convincing, maybe weed out some parts that might turn out to be wrong, And then I think that eventually, hopefully, they can also come and see the parts that are convincing and that can be built further on. Because I don't think that we have any idea that we are going to be able to sort of like solve the entire thing ourselves. It's something that will have to be collaborative, and where we hopefully gradually
Hell
can convince
yeah,
more and more of our colleagues
collaborative.
to work along this line. And that also includes testing other languages, because that's one of the objections that we've encountered. Oh, but you haven't tested this language. And I said, no, we can't do that all in a single paper, or maybe not even in a single lifetime, because it's a huge amount of work to reconstruct the language.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And
I
then
could see
do the
that.
work of testing it. So if someone else wants to do that, we're
And
very happy
admittedly,
to
I think
collaborate
that
with them. Also,
you can't
if
have
that means
pop
that they find
culture
a
without
better way of reading the books,
anthropology,
because that has to be
unfortunately, because like anthropology is
the goal,
no,
right?
sorry,
To
pop
find
culture
the best reading,
is the
regardless
focus
of
of
which language and who
anthropology.
ends up
So if you're interested
providing
in
the
pop
final piece
culture, you are
I
performing
can't wait
an
to see what their next reading is
anthropological
going to be that they teased,
like you
and
are
keep track of how
interested
their
in the
testing of this
idea
hypothesis
of
progresses,
anthropology,
and
even if you're not an
hopefully has
anthropologist.
some really tangible dividends for being able to read this language. Our next find brings us to Stockholm in Sweden, where someone digging for earthworms at their summer cabin has found a vast hoard of 12th century silver coins and jewelry.
Bro,
weighing
imagine
almost 6 kilos. The hoard contains.
You're just looking for some earthworms so that you put it into your garden, because you know what? The freaking, what's it called? When like you put shit into a container, it's like different food stuff, and then the earthworms eat it, and then they poop, and then use their poop for fertilizer. And then you come across this.
Contains up to 20,000 silver coins, silver rings, pendants, beads, and other artifacts, all buried together in a now degraded copper cauldron. Preliminary analysis of the coins has shown that many bear the inscription Knutus, linking them to King Knut Eriksson, who ruled Sweden from 1173 to 1195. Whoa. Notably, after a long hiatus of domestic coin production, he reestablished a coinage system and revived minting, issuing coins marked Knutus or Knutus Rex. There are also several bishop coins in the hoard, which were minted under episcopal authority. They feature a bishop holding a crozier. Oh,
they were the shit, like the poop we're going to fertilize?
Such coins are rare and reflect not only the close relationship between church and state, but also the financial autonomy of bishops as local authorities. Interestingly, the discovery predates the traditional founding of Stockholm in 1252, showing that significant activity, wealth, and settlement must have existed in the region long before the city became formalized. Archaeologists are now looking for traces of any nearby human activity that might explain who might have buried the hoard and under what circumstances. Crazy. The National Heritage Board of Sweden has custody of the treasure and will decide whether to compensate its discoverer in order to keep it in the public domain, where it could end up at a national museum, or if it will be sold privately. This discovery ranks among the largest medieval silver hoards ever unearthed in Sweden, not only in weight, but also in volume and numismatic rarity. The mix of royal and ecclesiastical coinage makes it especially valuable for understanding economic, political, and religious networks.
Thoughts on selling artifacts privately?
Now we head to Spain, where researchers investigating the preserved historic nest of a bearded vulture in a cliff cave have found a 750-year-old grass shoe. Further investigation of neighboring roosts revealed that generations of vultures had basically been archaeologists by feathering their nests with other historical artifacts, including pieces of leather, cloth, and string. This species of vulture reuses.
You could be an archaeologist without even being human.
Made up of layers of bones, grass, twigs, and scavenged materials. And I just want to specify that these nests that were excavated are no longer in use, as the bird went extinct in this region where they were looked at over 70 to 130 years ago. The vast majority of materials in the nests were bones, but roughly 9% was human-made, including a crossbow bolt, 72 pieces of leather, 129 pieces of cloth, and 25 items made from esparto grass, including the shoe, known as an agobia. This type of shoe typically lasted for a few days of wear, and were continuously repaired and replaced
but she shouldn't be talking about it, because she talks about anthropological, archaeological finds.
This type of grass has been used for thousands of years to make shoes, including modern-day espadrilles, which were originally a popular form of peasant footwear in Spain. Radiocarbon dating revealed the age of the shoe and suggests that the vultures were stealing them from medieval peasants 750 years ago, rather than taking them away from a modern archaeological site where they'd been uncovered.
Yo!
Can you just imagine being a medieval peasant, having perhaps taken off your shoes after a long day working in a field, when a giant vulture swoops down to steal it? That's quite a picture. This discovery has revealed that these nests can be a treasure trove of archaeological information, as their location in Iberian caves and rock shelters with stable temperatures and low humidity are ideal environments for preserving organic remains.
Okay, yes.
Researchers plan to continue working on the nests, and who knows, maybe they'll find the other half of the pair of shoes.
Point at them, nerd!
Our last story this month is another treasure, but this time it comes from under the sea, off the east coast of Florida, where divers have recovered over 1,000 Spanish coins from the wreckage of the legendary 1715 treasure fleet. Also known as the Plate Fleet, this convoy of 12 ships set sail from Havana, bound for Spain on July 24th, 1715, laden with treasures from Mexico, Peru, and Bolivia, including silver bars, gold coins, and royal jewels. However, within a week, a powerful hurricane struck, sinking 11 of the ships across a 50-mile stretch of ocean. Historians estimate that as much as $400 million in treasure was lost, including the jewels of the Spanish queen Elizabeth Farnese, making it one of the greatest maritime tragedies in colonial history.
Anthrozoology
Some of the
Sundays
wreckage was
when?
salvaged in the immediate
Honestly,
aftermath, but
we
vast
could
portions
talk.
of the treasure remained buried beneath
There,
sand and
there
sea
is an
for
anthro. I think
centuries.
it's anthrozoological
But
or something
before
like
you
that.
go grabbing your diving gear and
Or
a plane ticket to Florida, salvage operations on this wreck are
Archaeological,
strictly regulated,
zoo,
and unauthorized removal
archaeological?
of
Maybe that's
artifacts
it.
is illegal. Only 1715 Fleet
A lot
Queen's
of people
Jewels
talk about the
LLC
relationship with
and its
animals and humans.
subcontractors are permitted to
I got you,
explore and
gang. I
recover
got you.
items from the wrecks, operating under state archaeological oversight. This latest discovery was made during their summer 2025 salvage season. More than 1,000 silver reals and 5 gold escudos were lifted from the seabed. Many coins still bear legible mint marks and dates, offering valuable information about Spanish colonial mints in Mexico, Peru, and Bolivia.
No, it's
The
actually
condition
called.
of
I think
these
it's like
coins
zoo.
suggests they were part of a single chest or shipment that spilled when the ship broke apart. Concentrated recoveries like this are rare,
It's literally zoo
given the
archaeology.
centuries of ocean currents and storms that typically scatter artifacts like this.
It merges the
recovered
disciplines of
coins are
zoology and
undergoing
archaeology,
careful
focusing on the
conservation
analysis
before
of
they will be
animal
displayed
remains
to the
within
public.
archaeological
Plans
sites.
are in place for local museums on Florida's Treasure Coast to exhibit select pieces, offering both residents and visitors a direct encounter with the maritime history that has shaped the region. That's it for our top discoveries. Which one was your favorite?
Anthrozoology, that could all, yeah, okay.
If you enjoyed this segment, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Now we're going to move on to current news and events. I'm sure you probably heard all about our first story, the blatant theft of French imperial crown jewels worth more than $100 million from the Louvre Museum. On a Sunday last month, just after the museum opened in the morning, 4 thieves arrived with a stolen vehicle-mounted mechanical lift that they used to gain access to the Gallery of Apollo via a balcony.
It's probably something along those lines.
Once inside,
but
they threatened security who evacuated the premises.
One of the studies of like just
to crack open display cases,
and animals,
housing the jewelry,
and how they like
getting in and out in 4 minutes, and using scooters to escape. The audacious heist, carried out in broad daylight, has prompted a reckoning in France, as well as criticisms of the Louvre's security measures. The gallery's localized alarm had recently broken, or possibly been deactivated, although the museum's wider alarms did sound, and staff followed protocol by contacting security forces and protecting visitors. The stolen gems include an emerald and diamond necklace that Napoleon I gave to his second wife, a diadem set with 212
okay, hoops, nobody say anything.
That once belonged to Eugenie, the wife of Napoleon III, a tiara, necklace, and earrings from the sapphire set of Queen Marie Amélie and Queen Hortense, and a diamond-encrusted large bodice bow of Empress Eugenie. Luckily, the thieves dropped the most precious of the jewels, Empress Eugenie's crown, made of gold, emerald, and diamonds, during their escape, and left behind tools and other items at the scene of the crime that potentially bore traces of their DNA. They tried to set fire to their vehicle outside, but were prevented by the intervention of a museum staff member.
Damn it, we
4
freaking
people,
got
3 men and 1 woman,
you guys can
have
all
since been
commence
found
chatting
and charged,
now,
and are described as local people from Saint-Denis, a department north of Paris that is one of the poorest in France. All 3 of the men charged were known to police from previous convictions, including theft. The case is ongoing. Also in the UK this month is a final update on the defamation case of Richard Taylor versus the writers and producers, including Steve Coogan, of the film The Lost King, which is a retelling of the search and discovery of the remains of King Richard III, spearheaded by Philippa Langley. I actually watched and reviewed this film when it first came out, if you want to hear my extended thoughts on it, but essentially my impression was that in the interest of keeping to a hero-villain storyline, the film's creators, through the archaeologists and university people who assisted and worked with Philippa, the film kind of throws them under the bus to make them the villain. People get really mad about this in the comments. I'm not saying that she didn't contribute. She hugely contributed to this and nothing would have happened without her, but also this also wouldn't have been found with the contributions of the archaeologists who were involved and the people at the university and their support. Especially maligned was Richard Taylor, the deputy registrar at the University of Leicester, who sued the filmmakers over his portrayal as dismissive, patronizing, and misogynistic. He is now settled with the filmmakers who, in addition to paying his damages and lawyer fees, will add an on-screen clarification at the beginning of the film to make it clear that the character's actions and portrayal in the film do not actually represent who he was and what he did in real life. Interestingly, Philippa was not able to actually testify in the case in the defense of the film due to health complications as she suffers from chronic fatigue, and she has since moved on to her next project, looking for the grave of King Henry I of England under, you guessed it, a car park in Reading. Last but not least this month is the news that the Grand Egyptian Museum, or GEM for short, has finally opened. Described as the world's largest archaeological museum, it is packed with over 100,000 artifacts covering some 7,000 years of the country's history, including the entire contents of Tutankhamun's tomb, displayed together for the first time.
I want to go!
You can watch the full opening ceremony on YouTube, and I'm actually tempted to live stream watching and reacting to it. Let me know if that's something you'd like to join me for. And I can't wait till my daughter is a little bit older, and you can bet that I will be dragging both her and my husband to Cairo to go to the museum and enjoy it for a few days. Hopefully after, you know, the big surge of people wanting to go see it is over. All right, everyone.
Okay, I'm also going to be doing that for sure. I would love to go to that museum and literally just die there on the floor. So, some museums are nice. I like the ones that actively talk shit about the British Museum. Agreed. I think my take on museums is that, and I don't know if it's a really hot take, but my take on it is museums were what led me to my love for anthropology and learning about humans and my like empathy for different cultures. So I really love museums. When I was younger, I adored going to them, and I'm really grateful for what museums have been able to teach the masses. But as I have come to learn a bit more in my adult life, museums are also, because many of them are for profit, because many of them, um, mostly because they're for profit, it becomes problematic whenever a living ancestral community wants the remains of their loved ones or their ancestors. The what is it called? The reparations, repatriations of artifacts, and the fact that money kind of gets in the way of the moral and ethical justice behind some of these items and these artifacts. I think that's like just the biggest issue that I take with them. But like it's it helps teach a lot of people about a lot of things, all in one space. Ethics, bro, vidn't it? Yeah. So I don't know. That wasn't exactly the most eloquent that I could have been, but agreed, Koga. It really is. That's part of the reason why my brain just couldn't. It was interesting seeing so much Egyptian stuff in Rome. Makes me curious how much they had left to fill that gigantic museum. Yeah. And the other very interesting thing about museums is that like many of them have stores of artifacts that have yet to even see the light of day because of technology or because of like the private owners of these items who have like let the museums use them. And so there's just so much that has yet to be seen as well, and that can also be a huge complex issue. The museum debate is too long to deal with in a single stream. Yeah, in London, the Natural History Museum and the Science Museum, which are separate from the British Museum, are both amazing places to visit. And honestly, I want to visit it all because I want to have a better understanding of all these things and the like conflict, but I'm just very intrigued by it all. And also it's like morally complicated. Museums are complicated when it comes to other cultures. Sometimes they raid and steal important cultural items. Sometimes they're protecting artifacts from shifting conflicts and shifts in power. Yes. Yes. I agree with that. Speaking of the New Cairo Museum, yes. Alex, are you going? I swear to God, if you're going, you better take pictures and send us pictures. Live stream. I'm going to look it up right now. Wait. Don't me! Pictures. I don't need to go to Egypt as I'm already on the Nile River. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Talking of the evolution of words, do you think they were originally meant to be called museums because of art and muses? But people didn't like that, so museum is what they went with. Honestly, I have no idea, but that sounds right. That sounds like it could. That's viable. Viable for sure. Okay. I think I have made it to the Egyptian Museum. I want to look at an interactive map. Flipsy. I was humming Henry. Oh, thank you. Okay. It's hard to discern who is being hummed here, so I apologize for getting upset. Because the Greek museon actually has the museum sound in it. Oh, interesting! People, especially artists who say muse, are so cringe. You don't like that? Ah, you're my muse. Okay, so we've got the Central Hall, we've got the Old Kingdom, we've got the Middle Kingdom, the New Kingdom, the pre-dynasty and early dynastic periods, and then the third intermediate period, late and Greco-Roman periods. God, that's so cool! What the hell, man? We love it. Children's Museum, Library, COVID-19. Interesting. Collections. Let's look at their masterpieces. Never thought about it. Oh my god. Are muse and music related? Oh my god. Alex, Google it right now. Or look it up. Find out the answer for us. Bruh. Brother, this is awesome. Tondo of the Two Brothers. I wonder if that's what this, like, plate is or whatever. Whoa. You got no nose. Whoa. I can't see the little bar. I guess I could have pressed that button. Children program, school visits, community engagement. Since its establishment in 1995, EMC's education department has worked to engage the Egyptian community through different programs. Build and encourage public curiosity in the collection of the Egyptian Museum. Enhance the visitor's experience of the Egyptian Museum through interesting and enjoy. Is this the right museum? I read enough Greek mythology to know not to compare anyone with a goddess unless I wish them. Unless I wish them, I'll... Wait, what, Koga? Could you explain that just a little bit? It was a joke pun. Museum. Temporary exhibitions. Media. Can I get some pictures? This is super cool. There's a huge part of me that would love to become a docent for, or like some sort of educator, whatever they would potentially like call an educator, at a museum or something to that effect. Wish them ill. Sorry, phone autocorrect went hyper. No, you're good. Unless I wish them ill. Interesting. Woo woo. God, Koga, I want to learn more about what you know about life and school and your specific discipline. It would be so neat just walking around and info dumping on people who really want to learn more about stuff. Golly. Transforming the Egyptian Museum of Cairo. Restoration activities. Ooh, that's fun. 2019. Oh. Yeah. That's sick. I don't think we're gonna be able to listen to anything else today because that took the majority of our freaking time, which is fine. I think. Oh no, who got kicked? Koga! No. Diabolical. Mubot is absolutely diabolical. At some point, I really want to watch this video, Nikki in full clown makeup. So this dates back to before the Common Era. I don't know why it like auto corrected you, but I think it's if you posted a link, that might have been what happened. Yeah, I don't know what the link was. If you could post the link either in the Discord, maybe you can DM me. I can pull it up, but I would do it. There's no link there? Oh. What the hell? Did you? If you know what? Sometimes if you if you put a dot too close to something, it'll assume it's a link. Does it hate blinks? Maybe. I'm really not entirely sure what that was about. I need to just turn off MoveUp, but I haven't quite figured out how to do that yet, so. Oh my god. Timeout Koga. It's timed. No. What the fuck? What? Timeout MoveUp. You know what? I'm gonna actually ban MoveUp. That might become a problem for us in the future, but right now, I don't want to deal with it. Koga, no, you're totally fine. No worries at all. Hi, Queen! Hi, Mouse! Thank you guys so much for coming through. Yeah, Gan. You know what? Never mind. I can't even do the bit anymore. I fucked it up already. I'm gonna accidentally Alt F4. If you guys weren't here, Mitty made me Alt F4 yesterday, and I will never let her live it down because I will never live it down because I'm embarrassed. Or am I just VIP so I don't get hit with the same filters? Maybe. If you have a full stop and no space before the next word, the system thinks it's a link. Oh, interesting. Okay, so maybe that's what it was. Nikki's gonna ban me. Hi, Mouse. I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good. It's good to see you. Lore dumping in chat usually gets me to Toad. I love lore dumping, and I love when people lore dump in here. I'm working out. My weights got delivered Friday. I am so fucking proud of you, Queen. What are some of the goals you have for your fitness journey? She didn't make you. You're right. She didn't make me. She just suggested I do something, and I did it because I'm a dumb. Might not be the best course of action, and that's my secret. I want to watch this video at some point. I do. I love a good paragraph. Let me tell you what. I want to watch this video at some point. This is how the USA collapsed in the cyberpunk universe because it seems like a really fucking interesting video, but we're going to have to save it. And it's only 28 minutes, so it's not too bad, but we're going to have to save it for another day. But I'll make sure I put it on my, like, watch at some point. I don't know how to do that, but I'll watch it. Oh, there it is. Nope. Oh, yeah, save. Watch later. I just don't want any spoilers, but I do want to learn the lore a little bit better. I want to be a firefighter, so I want to get fit and shredded, dude. Queen. Fucking get it, okay? Fucking get it. Fireman roll. What is it? Fireman carry me. Get to it. That's exciting, Queen. I'm so proud of you. Fucking do it to it. Please remember, Queen, take your time. Don't overextend yourself because injuries prolong the process, but you got it. Good to see you, Team Nikki. These days I'm watching gamer reactions to Mortuary Assistant gameplay. Really? Mouse! Mortuary Assistant was my jam a while ago. I love it. Dubsy! What's good, homie? Yeah, I'm excited. I need to, because I have a very surface level understanding of cyberpunk, but I really want to understand like why I've done certain things. It does not help that I try playing this game with chat. It helps and it doesn't help, but I want to know more, you know? So we're going to figure that out. Maybe we'll watch it the next time we play Cyberpunk. We'll watch it before or after. I don't know. That's all I got, dudes. That's all I had. Do you guys have anything else you want to share? I also, you know what I'd also really love to do? I would love to play more games that have like elements of anthropology or archaeology, something involved. And I know that we've had some pop up, but I need to get into a little bit more of those. One time we tried playing this one like really simple archaeology game and it was not good. Mortuary's Assistant was a surprisingly accurate depiction of modern embalming. Gay. And I cannot explain to you how much I enjoyed that game specifically for the mortuary like assisting part. Like I played it for like weeks, ignoring the demon because I just wanted, like, let me just do my job. And then they came out with the actual mortuary. Hold on. Gay, have you played, because I think I bought it. No, I didn't. Has anybody played that mortuary? Not the assistant, but the, like, what is that one game where it's literally mortuary's assistant, but it's not? Like, you can have just the mortuary part. I can't remember the name of it. But I had so much fun with it. I don't think I'd want to do it in person, but I really enjoyed doing it in the game. That same friend who paid for my perfume says that if her trip to Korea falls through, she'd want to come to Shanghai with me. And if we go, you bet I'm rewatching Ed Redding's. What? Alex, seriously? How you find that friend? Can you give me the rundown? Because I would also like to find a friend like that. That's sick. Grandma in the game freaked me out the most. Yeah. I liked whenever we would roll them down the hallway and their feet would wiggle. Is that too niche? What's Dig Dug? Dig Dug. Oh, okay. Well, I could try that. It took me 2 playthroughs and a few wiki deep dives for the cyberpunk to make sense to me, so don't feel bad if you don't get stuff in your first run. Thank God. Okay, I do feel kind of bad sometimes, but I have so many of you who come through and help me, which is a godsend. But I just, like, I try my best to stay focused, and it's hard. It's hard. Plays the entire Assassin's Creed series, so I actually did a small segment as well. I did a summer, like last summer, I think, where we, instead of learning through our normal medium, which is like we watch videos and stuff, I played like Assassin's Creed, and we did the like educational walkthrough of, we did a part of the one in Greece, I think, or Rome. The one where there was a female protagonist. And that was actually really fun. Like, I had a good time. I played Chance of Sonar, Alex. We did that. It was awesome. It was sick. And it was hard, too, but it was fun. Isn't that where you found us? No, maybe not. I heard of that game. I forgot the name. Yeah, it's a different one. There was a game called A Mortician's Tale. Is that maybe? Let me look. No, that's not it. Although that looks fun. Book of Hours is a nice, chill, and deep game. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. Whoa, this thing looks complex. I will put it on my wish list. Cool. I just put Dig Dug because that's like an archaeologist pronoun. Yes, I do love that. And I looked up the game and it's very silly. Greece, yeah. Okay, so that's what I thought. Nikki was a game. Oh, that's exactly what it was. Thank you. That's precisely what it was. It is in my library because I did make that purchase because I did decide that. And I haven't played it yet. We gotta play it together, gang. Oh my God. We gotta play this game together because I don't want to play the horror parts. I literally just want to play the autopsy simulator stuff. I really thought that I was going to be a forensic anthropologist once I started learning a little bit about it, but I don't think that I could handle it. I really don't think I could handle it. Cyberpunk is an old TTRPG, so the lore is basically made to be hard to understand. Fair enough. And who is it? Chromie? Hey. I think it's Chromie. We recently had a new person join the community and they like specialize. Yeah! Chromie apparently specializes in the TTRPG stuff for Cyberpunk, I think, which is super sick. That's cool. Travanator! Welcome in! How you doing today, boys? It's good to have you here. The Greek and the Viking games both had a female version. Oh my God. Sorry, then I got confused, but it's the Greek one. Shadows currently. Is it fun? Are you enjoying it, Queen? Autopsy Simulator, yes. One game you might like is Graveyard Keeper. Graveyard Keeper. Oh my God, think he's throwing a body into the river. Okay, that actually kind of looks cute. I'm gonna put that on my wish list as well. Holy shit. Words are hard. Making questionable decisions. Welcome to Graveyard Keeper, the most inaccurate medieval cemetery sim of the year. Okay, yeah, that sounds so. I'm gonna look into that. I never played Autopsy Simulator. It looks fun. Yeah, it looked fun, and I know that there's like the horror elements to it, but I genuinely like. I would literally get mad at the demon for fucking up my day job. I didn't want to have to freaking uncover who the demon was because I'm like, let me just get like, let me come in, do the mortuary the stuff, and then go home. Not die. Go home. It was crazy. Hey Nikki, how are you? Hello, Travanator. I'm doing well. How are you doing? Autopsy is different from embalm. Oh, okay, and is to some embalmers the bane of an embalmer. Really? Oh, wait! I think, is it because, and Gay, please correct me if and when I'm wrong. Is it because sometimes an autopsy can leave the body in such a sorry state because of the way that autopsy needs to sometimes do their autopsying thing? You're right, though. I apologize. I should not have compared them per se. And damn it all, I enjoyed the embalming part. I don't know if I'll enjoy the autopsy part, but maybe. I haven't played it yet. It's great if you like choice game and comment you love it. I do love choice-based games. I do. And I like Assassin's Creed. I haven't really been involved in the gaming of like in that game for a while, so I'm not entirely sure if I'm still a fan of the story, but I enjoyed being immersed in the worlds, you know? It was cool. I don't think that they came out with a chill ASMR cozy style mortuary assistant level, but I really wish that they did. Like, just let me just do that. Yeah. I do think you should at least watch the trailer for it. I'll pull it up, baby. I'll pull it up. What is it called? What is it called? So sorry. Hold on. Queen, where is your shit? Okay, so Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Alright, so probably checking out.
Alright, I got it up. We'll watch it together. Mortuary ASMR assistant. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, man. That's what I want. Usually it's just embalmers whining that they don't leave the arteries intact and making more work for preservation. Oh, God. Freaking embalmers, am I right? Babies. Wait, where are the arteries? I'm sorry, I shouldn't. But are there specific embalming only games? Because I think Autopsy only covers it. Yeah, I don't know. We should look into that, Mouse. Strange Antiques is chill but creepy too. Strange Antiques. Hold on, let me get my Steam back up so I can at least have a little bit of a look-see-do. Steam! Strange Antiques. Strange Antiques. Oh, I've heard of this. Yeah. And I never added it to my wish list. Of course I didn't. Mortuary ASMR assistant, lo-fi beats to embalm autopsy too. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. The real drama is between embalmers and organ donations. Whoa, Gay, tell me more. Why? Now, is that an issue of people not having the goods? Like, tell me more. I have very mixed feelings about that game. Ooh, you play as both male and female characters. Ooh, just dump grandma in the vat of formaldehyde and call it a day. Dip her in like a popsicle stick. She'll come out with a coating of like hard chocolate.
Got Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm gonna tell you right now, I've been covering every Assassin's Creed game.
Hey, this isn't what I wanted. That's a walkthrough. I didn't ask for that. You know what I asked for? I didn't ask for anything. A trailer. Oops. Okay. It is scary, but I really do think, Mouse, you could find a local, like, mortuary home, and you could probably ask them to shadow. I don't know if like they probably have some like stuff you'd have to go through in order to qualify, but no more humming, Steven. Has gone. Also, stop distracting me, Steven.
My family burns in the name of unification.
Okay, that makes sense. Oh, how interesting. Do you think they think
still a frog in a well
if you're
who knows nothing of the sea?
If you're an organ donor, you should just be cremated?
But they all come from the same river. Greed.
Wow.
Power. Vengeance.
Whoa, 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 whoa!
And you
doing vomiting or maybe doing
will you continue down that river?
You can't do it when you're getting drunk. I want the answer that's true to you, Gay. Just give me an answer.
Together.
Ooh. Is that a black Japanese man?
We must learn to trust.
Whoa! Wait!
Rebuild.
And follow the blade.
Do you want? Yes. Okay. Hi, Blaze. Welcome in. I'm good. How are you? Jeez. Yeah, that's Yosuke. Oh. Is that an actual historical figure? It's good, but a bit of a slow burn. Wait, why is it criticized, though?
Who do you serve?
Oh, I'm curious about that. Yasuke? Oh, apologies if I...
We are the shadows.
That serve the light.
Ooh. Now, is it a matter of the desire to have... I'm confused. This game is gorgeous graphically. Add to that, it caused the usual suspects to go apocalyptic, maybe? At the two protagonists being a black man and a woman. Even more so because the black man is based on a person who existed in real life. Ooh. Yasuke from Assassin's Creed Shadows. Okay, Yasuke. Is this? I'm assuming that this is pretty close to historical recording, but okay, maybe this one. Thank you, Black Blaze. I appreciate you. I have no more water. I go get more water. It is, but his character is heavily dramatized here. Oh. Yasuke was the actual historical figure the incel right-wing haters threw a fit because of woke. Okay, so my hopeful and true to me answer is they will always want what will comfort the family the most. The cynical answer is embalming's another thing they can charge. I see. Okay. I haven't gotten far, but I'm really enjoying it so far. Fuck yeah, Queen. I don't want to spoil anything. I just want to look into the character himself, but if it might be spoily, maybe mute me for a second. I just want to see the historical figure. I'm gonna go get this water really quickly so I can hydrate, but then I'll be right back. And then we're gonna end stream. I have to God historical fiction game Assassin's Creed can't be spoiled by checking the accurate historical. Look, I'm trying to be thoughtful, okay? You guys don't want me to be thoughtful. You asked me to play a character gay, and I'm trying. The one thing that Assassin's Creed games all did well to varying degrees was weave in historical figures and events. You were learning without learning. Yes, I agree with that. That would be pretty sick gay. Basically, the historical figure Yasuke is based off is very badly documented, and lots of people were unhappy with what liberties Ubisoft took when depicting him. Now that rage, I understand. The woke rage, I have no, like, that's stupid. But one of the games ending with stabbing the Pope to stop him from mind controlling Italy. I think you are right. But I think that's historically accurate. And that you just spoiled it for everybody. Way to go. Spoiler. I don't even remember which one that was. Okay, was a samurai of African origin who served Oda. Okay. According to historical accounts, Yasuke first arrived in Japan in the service of Italian Jesuit Alessandro Nobunaga summoned him out of desire to see a black man. Subsequently, Nobunaga. Okay, so is this from for the anime television series? Okay, cool. So, okay. As a samurai, he was granted a sword, a house, and a stipend. Until his death and fought until the death. Afterwards, yes, he was sent back to the Jesuits. There are no subsequent records of his life. Oh, how interesting. Okay, well, that's unfortunate that they did not do a service to the depiction of this individual. I can see why that would make people upset. And I honestly haven't really heard a whole lot about the game, if I'm being completely honest. So I'm surprised that there's so much like controversy around it because I just haven't heard anything. All right. Well, I'll look into that one. And I'll look into more mortuary games because honestly, I do think that it is very interesting to do the embalming stuff. I don't know why. I just have intrigue around it. I think that it is in part a little bit of like, I enjoy the idea of helping to make an individual look the way the family wants, but also it's just morbidly intriguing. I guess you could argue that because there was so little of him on record, there wasn't much to deviate from. Yeah, but perhaps, and I think that, yeah, that makes sense. And I guess the issue is where did Ubisoft take it? Because if they took it in a direction that's like, okay, this is the like lowest common denominator, then like, why did you do that? I don't know. Insert up bun appreciation comment. Worker, thank you so much, Woodies. Thank you for paying your taxes. I love having you here. I hope you're having a really, really good Sunday. Can a girl have a casual obsession with death? I know, right? Casual. It's fine. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for accepting me for who I am, how I am, what I am, why I am, and when I am. What's up, bun? Queen, thank you for paying your taxes. I had a blast. I really do love getting to have these really fun conversations with you guys. Sometimes I have the thing that I want to talk about on like at the top of my mind, and sometimes I don't. And this is one of those days that I get really nervous about coming on stream and talking with you guys because I don't really have anything planned, but you guys have helped to remove that a bit because you still show up, you still show interest, and we're still learning together. So thank you guys for that. Milo, up. It's fine. You can get up there. You've jumped up there before. Please wear a mustache next year. I'm so sorry. I will try to remember that, gay. I am now in the business of confusing everybody to the best of my ability. Thank you for sharing. You are so welcome, Joey. You guys, seriously, you guys are giving me a complex. If I have to wear a mustache for the rest of my stream days, I might. But it was a struggle. I know, after that joke, I really did send you off. Like, you could handle not a mustache day, but yeah, went from Nikki to Nikki, yes. Oh, shit. Joey, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and lurking today. I'm not sure if you popped in earlier and I just missed you, but I appreciate it. Henry, thank you for contributing to the conversation. Genuinely, I love learning with you guys. Let's see who the fuck is online right now. Consider joining our Discord because I like posting all the links that we looked at. I like posting the links that we looked at in there so that you guys can go back through and look at them yourselves or reference them, or possibly if you want, like if you're watching the stream back, you can go through and you can watch it along with us. Entirely up to you, but it's super, super, super fun to kind of curate all of this with you guys. So definitely check it out if you guys get some time to do so. Thanks for the stream, Nikki. I loved it. Appreciate the opportunity to shake off the dust of some note. Yes, Koga. And come back through. I really want to try, especially as we are inching closer to being done with my schooling, I really want to get back into the swing of Sundays being our learning days. I've kind of not always been on top of my game with that. I think me just being as close as I am, I'm a little overwhelmed by stuff, but I am having a very good time, and I seriously want this community to continue being like science communication adjacent. So Richard, good. How are you? Have you saved, has your car been saved yet? At Dead Sassy. Let me see. It's streaming if you're looking for somewhere to raid. Yes, let me look here. Haven't, Jesus, I'm so sorry. Oh, I might actually have somebody that we can raid into, but let me first look at who this individual is. I'm sorry, Richard. What the hell? What the helly? Wait, have I been here before? Oh no, I haven't been here before. No. It's dark now? Oh my god. When are they supposed to be there? I'm gonna give them a shout out, but I think that is so much fun. Oh my god. I think we are going to go to, did it do the shout out? Do you guys see the shout out? The fuck? Dude. Computer. Shout out at You know what? Fuck it. Okay. Please go and follow if you haven't already, okay? I think where we're gonna go is we're gonna go to Lady of Yarnum. We raided there before, I think at Aga's request, and I haven't had an opportunity to go through there and hang out some more. So I think I want to do that. Henry, thank you for the recommendation. I do appreciate that. And hopefully we'll be able to stream, like, head over there another time. But Lady of Yarnum, or Mara, is playing Resident Evil 2, and I really, really want to get an Overwatch day in with her because she is just so much fun. So, I'm gonna stop because at this point, this poor creator is probably thinking I'm a psychopath. But I do think you are correct. I do think Mubot was responsible for that, and I did 1000%. Oh, you did it. Okay. Fucking last time. Hey, last time. Stop! We're done. I'm leaving. Oh my god, it's not even working. Guess who bought a knowledge? You, Queen! Thank you so much for buying a beanie. Oh my god, I appreciate you so fucking much. I'm gonna go into that individual space and I'm going to let them know, hey, if they saw me shouting them out a million times, I was testing stuff. I'm so sorry. I'm embarrassed. Maybe I won't because I'm embarrassed. But, Queen, thank you so much for buying a beanie. I appreciate you. I think I'm gonna get out of here because I'm I can't. No, don't me. Get that out of here, okay? I've already been made a fool enough. If the shout out didn't work, would it notify them? Oh, maybe not. You know what? I'm gonna bank on that. I'm gonna bank on that. And I'm gonna pray to the Twitch gods that nothing found them. Shout out. Oh wait, no. Raid 2. They should have no idea. Excellent. They'll never know. Okay, fuck, I forgot to change that. Everybody, take the hi, it's Nikki her raid message. Take this one because the other one is broken. I'll fix it eventually. I appreciate you all so fucking much. Again, thank you for being a part of this space. Thank you for making this community what it is. I am super excited for the next couple of weeks because once I finish school, I'm going to be busy, but we're going to have so many opportunities to hang out, to vibe. I might be considering full-time streaming, so we'll see how that works. Definitely financially and socially and my brain and everything. So we'll figure it out. But thank you guys. Black Flames, thank you for being here. Gothic, thank you for being here. Gay, you angel, you nuisance. I love you guys. Queen, thank you. I appreciate you so much for all the support, y'all. And I'll catch you guys sometime next week, okay? Take a look at the Discord. Find me on there, and I'll let you know when we're coming back, okay? Love you. Bye. I hope you make it home, Richard.